Big Talk.
Yeah.
Episode what? Episode 7?
Episode 7.
With a special guest.
Woo.
Frank Nibbs.
Yo, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that so much.
Thank you for stopping by, bro.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
A man of mystery. We were speaking a little bit about that before the podcast started. Me and Lewis were doing some research. We found some things. Found him pop up in a couple videos. I saw one where you popped up in, I think it was Curly's video.
Oh, man.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, this man is really a man of mystery. Curly's not even saying what this man does. What does this man
That's
do?
true, right?
So we're here today to find out what you do, bro.
Yo, you did your homework, bro.
Yeah, man. How do you feel?
I feel great, man. I feel great. I'm so happy that you guys invited me over, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I've done interviews, like, with other people, but this is my first time dolo, yo.
Yeah.
So this is like the first of the first. So thank you so much
That's
again
awesome,
for having me, bro.
Man, thank you for being open to being here, man. That's
Thank you.
awesome. And it was super dope. I want to mention how we all got here right now in this moment.
Because it was a mystery of itself. It was kind of,
bro.
Even
me and Lewis, right? Me and Achilles, we got together. This is the first time since we were like fucking kids, really, that we had a full bike ride. We had a bike ride from our cribs all the way up to the tip top of Manhattan, and we were just chilling there. We were just chilling there for a little bit. But on the way to the tip top of Manhattan, where we saw you in Wood Park, we seen you, we bumped into you, and it was one of those moments where me and him afterwards, and even during, we was just like, yo, that's fucking crazy, right?
Thank you.
That we were able to bump into you, right? So I'll tell the story like for that specific part, right? So me and him were going down on our bikes in the hills. We're almost to the part of the park that we're going to. We see this guy, right? And for me, he looks familiar, but like I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm kind of we catch eyes and then we kind of keep going. But then I think you said something. You said Josh, and for me, I'm like, like Justin. I'm like Justin. But for you to you might know me. So then
that was close enough.
Yeah,
That was a good one.
You start walking towards me, and me and him we stop and we're like, okay, what is life bringing us right now?
Right.
You know
What's
what
this guy gonna do? This dude's huge too, bro.
Bro, and we just start talking, and it's like every experience that we've had is like right away. Like when we know it's a good vibe, when we know it's what it's supposed to be, we just start having big talk. That's what we like to call it. We just start having big talk. We start talking about you mentioned like, yo, you have a podcast. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah. And then I start remembering how I met you, which through a friend, Jackie. Shout out to Jackie, man, for making this connection possible. For sure. And it was just one of those moments I was like, wow, this is insane. We started speaking, and then it was just like, yo, you said that you had a podcast, you telling us some stuff that you've done. You guys have a connection somehow. So it's like the universe is just
crazy.
like, the universe is exploding in that moment, like, yo, this is something that this is something, you know what I mean?
Right,
so
right.
then at some point, I told you straight up, like, yo, bro, like almost towards the end of the conversation, I'm like, bro, we have to connect somehow. And you was like, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, let's have you on Big Talk. We made it happen. We're here. And I'm very grateful to be in this moment and to be able to connect with each and every one of you to make that moment happen. So I want to give a round of applause for every one of us.
You know what's a funny thing though? Like I right before we bumped into you, we were actually talking about the podcast. If you remember, like we were having a conversation about it. I don't know what it was exactly, but I know it was somewhere along the lines like, wow, like we're really making this shit happen type shit. I know it was a positive conversation about the podcast. We're riding the bike and then we just passed by and that happened. And it's like, wow, like just a few seconds before that, we were just like talking about that.
I'm gonna tell you guys something. There is Elon Musk said there are no coincidences in this world.
Yep, that's
right?
true, man.
That's one. And two, the area that I bumped into you guys is a very sacred area of Washington Heights. Is in Wood Hill Park. That was a very indigenous area back in the days.
Yep.
And I take long walks through there, and I feel energies. So just me meeting you guys there, I see it as like a real connection to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I didn't meet you guys for no coincidences.
Absolutely.
You know
Crazy,
what I'm saying?
man.
I agree.
That's so true, yo. And on the path that we were on, like there was not a lot of people on that path.
Right,
there were
right.
like two other people like in front of.
Right.
That's like going deeper into the park. To get there, you have to already walked a bunch of the park to get where he was.
Right.
You know what I mean? And to get where we were at the same time.
That's true, yeah.
That in itself is trippy and something that you could think about, but we don't have to get that deep so quick. You know what I mean?
Crazy,
You don't have to get that deep so quick.
Big talk.
But yeah, I wanted to ask you, man, just like, how you're from New York City, right?
Yes.
Were you born and raised in New York City?
I'll tell you, man. I was born and raised in Washington Heights. I was born on 162nd and Fort Washington Avenue. I was there to the age of 8. Then after that, I moved to 177th in Pinehurst, which is one block over from 177th in Fort Washington. Beautiful view of the George Washington Bridge. And, you know, I grew up in the Heights. It was beautiful, man. Then I was born in the 70s, and in the 80s, the crack era came. The Heights changed a lot. It went from, you know, families, you know, and then all of a sudden the crack era came, and then it turned really ugly. But fortunately, I had great people around me. I have a great family, and I had a great base of friends and family around in that area. Support system in that area. While everything was going crazy around me, you know, I was always held up by great people around me. I had a great elementary school that I went to, PS 173 on 173rd and Broadway.
Nice. Yeah, I remember that.
Great education there. And then when I went to junior high school, I went to 143, man. And it was like going from Disney World to fucking Rikers Island, bro.
Yeah, everybody used to say that about 143. I went to 143.
Oh, man.
We used to be the same thing. We're like, yo, 5th grade, I don't want to go to 143, bro. I heard that shit is bad. We wanted to go to 218. Which is in Dykeman.
Yeah.
I remember I wanted to go to 218 because my cousin Wandy, he went to 218 and he was able to build a bike. They had like a program that you build a bicycle and then you get to take it home or something like that. So I'm like, I want to go there. I don't want to go to 143, but it was great though. I went to 143. It was great. It was good.
When I went, it was in the 80s, early 80s. Damn. So it was crazy, man. I don't want to get into it, but it was a lot of fighting. You know, I went from a great school to freaking like a school where, and then what happened, it was in the middle of the 80s. The crack era was like, I mean, it was really bad. You know, the neighborhood was like nothing like what you guys were born into.
Yeah.
And, but again, you know, I was surrounded by great people. Then one thing I always wondered, and I was about music. You know, I was around my brothers, my father, the merengue, the salsa, the rap in that era. And the MTV generation was really into its own, and like, you know, boom, boom.
That's true. Yeah, MTV was heavy back then.
Big time. And then me and my boys, we used to come fucking school and watch MTV the whole fucking day, like 10 hours. But watching all that MTV, you know, like fucking did something to my brain. I don't know what it was. It did something to my brain. And then it kind of in a way, I knew I wanted to do something with TV or I wanted to be in front of the camera one way or another. You feel me?
That's fire, man.
You know, then high school, I went to G-Dubs.
Oh, shit. You stayed in the neighborhood. You did not go outside of Washington Heights.
Again, you know, it wasn't a place where I was really, you know, I wanted to be in school, this, that, and the third. Then something happened miraculously in my life when I was a sophomore. I got a job at this place called Tavern on the Green. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it. It's a restaurant on 67th Street and Central Park West.
Oh, no. Sorry.
It's like a fucking really famous restaurant, real ditzy. I was like 16 years old, but I've always been huge. So they thought I was like a fucking adult. So my boy, Armando Saha, got me a job there. So I was meeting fucking affluent people. I met John Gotti. I met Madonna.
Whoa.
This was like a real famous place.
As a 16-year-old?
16-year-old. So I was making money in high school.
Man.
Then the club scene was fucking popping. You know, you had Red Zone, you had the Tunnel, you had Mars, you had all these different clubs in the city. So I was really into the club world and the dressing and the whole shit. So that got me by through high school. You know, I was fucking with the girls, going to clubs. That got me through school. That was like, oh shit, I graduated, you know, a year or two late and shit. My mother was like, mira, búscate un trabajo. I was like, yo, I want to be an actor. She was like, actor? ¿Actor de qué? Búscate un trabajo de verdad.
That's how Hispanic parents are.
You know how it is. You guys are doing all your production, but you know your parents are like, yo, but get a real job.
Especially back there, though. I feel like now they're a little bit more lenient. They understand, you know, with the internet, they see how, you know, things have changed. But back then, I can only imagine what you guys had to go through.
Right. So, you know, I had aspirations. I worked. It was like it was a service industry. So you met all, you know, the waiters that were actors and singers, and I wanted to do that, but I also had, I looked at my skin tone and shit, and I looked at them, and I was like, damn, they're white and they can't find work, and they got money already, and I was like, I had an entrepreneurship type of mindset. And I was like, I gotta make money. My family was like, you gotta make money. So coming out of high school, I said, my brother had a job at a computer company. He was like part owner. He was like, yo, get into computers. I was like, all right, fuck it. So I started learning computers. I got a computer job. So I worked at this computer job for like 5 years. It was called Predictive Systems. So I worked at Pfizer. I worked at Bear Stearns. I worked at all these places as a consultant. But I realized, man, I didn't like this shit. It was like, and I was making good money back then, bro.
Wow.
And I was like, yo, I don't like this shit. You know, my brother's like, you're doing good. Let's keep on going. I was like, fuck.
So that was like around the 90s?
Right, in the 90s. And then in the late 90s, there was a big bubble and there was like a fucking, they got rid of a whole bunch of people in the tech world and shit.
Wow.
And they gave me a severance pay. They were like, yo, peace, man. You know, and I was like, my brother was like, yo, I got another job for you. And I was like, no, I'm a chill, man. I'm a chill. I'm a chill for a little while. And then my boy had a cafe on 165th and Broadway called X Cafe.
X Cafe.
X Cafe. It was, it's, you know, for Malcolm X. Same building.
Okay.
So
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like where BBQs is now?
Yes,
Yeah,
right next to it.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, you're not doing nothing. It's not your line of work, but just you know, come through, man. Come help me out. I need the help. And I was like, fuck it, let me go and shit. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was just like, I was frozen, you know what I mean? And my family wanted me to get back into the business. But I think deep down inside, I had that urging to get back to do the arts.
Gotcha.
And so happens I met my mentor there named Mark Harris. And he was into production. And he got me a job like right away. He was like, yo, I got a job for you with this dude doing this gig called Pimps Up, Hoes Down, which was a show on HBO.
Wow.
He was like, yo, I got you a job to be a production manager. You would have to go out to Atlantic City and be a production manager. I was like, bet, I'm going to do it. So I did that for a whole summer and I got back into production. Well, not back. That's the first time I got into production.
How'd you like that? That was your first experience in production?
Experience.
How did you like it? How was the feeling of that?
I loved it, man. I was doing PA. I was driving a freaking a van every weekend. I was picking up strippers, taking them to their johns. And then, you know, I had freaking like camcorders back in those days with a fucking wheelchair, following the johns around. So I was seeing the whole...
But it was real?
Real, bro.
Wow.
You guys can look at this shit up on HBO. It's called Pimps Up, Hoes Down. He did one in New York. He did one in San Francisco. He did one in Hunts Point. He did these things in areas where there was like strippers and the johns and how it goes back and forth.
Wow.
So I kind of started seeing, like, we would go afterwards, after we shot all the footage on the weekends, we would go back with the cameraman and we would, you know, break down the footage and everything. I was like, yo, I think I could fucking do this like on my own. I want to do my own films. I want to do my own shit. So after I did that for a whole summer, I was like, wow, this shit is like, I could fuck with this. I could keep on doing this. Then it so happens I meet my boy, Juan Bago. He worked like 2 blocks away from there. He comes in the first day, like the first time I fucking meet him, he's like, yo, I heard you did production and I want you to direct my film. And I'm like, yo, dude, come on, I'm not a fucking director. He's like, yo, I wrote this shit already. I'm like, yo, dude, I can't direct this shit. He's like, look, I'm going to start shooting this shit like right away. I got this film. So my boy had a film. We shot it. It got into the film festival. Shit pops off.
Wow.
You know. Then
crazy.
from there, we're like,
Took
yo.
that chance.
Then we're like, yo, let's do a little, you know, me and you, let's do a little production thing together. Let's do a little video thing. And it so happens how everything works out. At that time, the digital cameras just came out.
Yeah.
It was a P2. It was a Panasonic P2. The shit cost like 6 G's. And
Big
I just
joint,
got,
right?
Wow.
Yeah. And I just got my fucking money from my severance pay. My mother's like, "Tu estás loco, muchacho." So I went to fucking B&H. I bought a camera. I bought the fucking lighting system, and we started a little company doing short films, doing commercials, doing this, that, and the third. And then I had my brother Caesar doing in Harmonic Studios.
Wow.
So I was doing music and I was doing the video ends of things. You know what I mean?
That's amazing, bro.
Yeah.
Shout out to Caesar, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to my brother
bro.
Caesar, man, in Harmonic. Shout out. So that was my first step getting into production. So it just got me going. That's
fire, man. Did Juan, he found you in the cafe next when you were working there, or you?
Yeah, that's the first time we met. That's the first time we met. So he did his film. It was called Juan Bago the movie, and then it got put into a festival called the Latino Film Festival, where I met another mentor of mine called Calixto Chinchilla. Calixto Chinchilla started the Latino Film Festival. Pretty much on his own. He's the founder, you know. And then I started learning about going to that festival, and it was the first time I saw Dominicans and Latinos, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, everybody.
Must have been an amazing feeling, right?
Oh, man. It was like the first time that I ever seen that, you know. I'm talking about writers, behind the camera. I'm talking about executives, everybody, you know. And he put all these people together. We were like, oh, shit. Like, yo.
That's beautiful.
This is not me. There's other people that look like me that want to be in this industry, you know what I mean? And just the fact that my boy just put out that film, it just got shit on and popping. And we started that little company. And then about in 2010, my boy Juan Bago calls me one day. He's like, yo, Frank, my boy Oscar Martinez just called me. You know, this song, Black and Yellow, is out right now. It's popping. It's a Super Bowl. Yo, we want to switch it to pan con queso, pan con queso, pan con queso.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah, you remember that shit. And I was like, yo, dude, come on, chill, bro. This shit. He's like, yo, we need to be in the studio like tomorrow. This shit's going to pop off. And
That's
then,
crazy.
with a little production company, we're going to do a video real quick. And I was like, all right, my dude, let's do this
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Yo, that's awesome.
You know, long story short, yo, we did the shit, and the shit went fucking viral, my nigga. It shit went crazy.
You guys went viral before viral was even
Yo,
a
dude,
thing
we were
like
the
that,
first Dominican Americans to go viral on YouTube. We were the first ones to get 1 million hits.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that's fire.
yeah,
man.
I was bugged out, man. I was seeing myself on Mundos on TV, and that's the first time that I started seeing myself on TV. I was like, oh shit, I could. Again, you know, when you see yourself, you like the vision
Wow,
start.
man, that's crazy.
So the shit went to 1 million, and then we were like, oh shit, and you know, the calls, my man's getting the calls, and then the pressure comes on, right, guys?
Shit.
Okay.
Then the pressure comes out, and then you know,
How do you deal with that?
I really didn't have to deal with it because my boy Juan Bago kind of was
the-
the,
that kinda like the
was
face
the
of it.
face,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I played the back end role, I played the producer role, and he was the one with that pressure. You feel me? You know, and I was more the production with the music end and the video end. That was my role. And he had to, you know, he did what he had to do, and he did
Yeah.
it. And then Lin-Manuel hits him up and says, "Yo, Lin-Manuel Miranda from In the Heights."
Yeah.
We know.
Hits him
Another
on,
one,
right?
yeah.
Hits him
It's a
up.
big one.
Hits him up on the second one. It's like, yo, this shit is dope. This pan con queso. I want to be on the second one. And we were
Wow,
like, oh
that's
shit.
crazy.
I was like, wow. We
It's
were
like a snowball effect.
yeah, it's just like a snowball effect. And he came on the second one. It was called Dominican the Heights. We call it Dominics in the Heights. And he came out as the Mr. Softy guy in the video, and it popped off. The only thing that messed us up with that one was that YouTube caught on to the music, to the you know,
content ID and stuff.
They shut us down.
Yeah.
That shit would have had way over 1 million hits, but it came out on Mundos and the whole nine.
Nice.
And it just got us, you know, it was just dope. It really it solidified us. It kind of
it's another kind of like it's another what do you call it? What's that word? It's like another kind of like gift from the universe. Like yo, like you guys are on the right
Yeah,
track.
right.
Like,
I wanted to mention that. That's something I wanted to point out, just in case anybody, like whoever's watching, didn't peep it. It started with his boy pulling up to him saying, "Yo, let's do this." He's kind of like, "Nah." His boy's like, "Yeah, bro."
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
just end up being like, "You know what? Yeah, you open yourself up to that." And sometimes it just takes saying yes. We keep saying that every
Yeah.
episode. It
And
only
we-
takes some time to say yes.
right.
And you go back to him like, you know, just taking that job, like at that cafe. Like if he would have
Yeah.
had taken that
It
spot,
would've
like, you know,
never- Right.
and he didn't even need to because, you know, I think at that time you said you had some money saved up
Right.
that they gave you from your own
Right.
job.
Right.
So you ain't even need to, but you're like, you know what, let me give it a shot. He needs help. Let me go to that cafe. And then he bumps into Juan, and then from there on, it's like a snowball effect.
Right.
Wow, that's crazy.
You guys
man.
got it. So it's, you know, you guys, it's like, you know, little dots, man.
Yeah.
You know, all the things, you know, and you look back, you're like, oh, all the little dots that you start putting
Yeah.
together, you're like, oh shit. And that really just got us going, and then it really got another group of people around us going, because when we had the festival, and then my boy Juan did his own thing, we called Room 28. And it was a sketch comedy group. And that's what he does. He's an actor, he's a comedian, he's a writer. And he had a nice group around him of actors and comedians. And about in 2015, they started a podcast, Latinos Out Loud.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were like, yo, come on board and shit. Yo, come in, boom. I was like, but it was kind of weird for me because they're dope, man. They do what they do. They got onto NBC too. They
Fire.
did. I forgot the name of the show. I think it was America's Best Comedy or something like that. So they're official, man. So they brought me on, and it was my first time being on a podcast with them. But the podcast, I'm sure you guys have touched on it. It has a little sketch comedy aspect to it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was something different than the rest of the podcast that you were hearing. So it was beautiful,
Now
man.
that's fire. I was checking one of the episodes out. I think, did you guys shoot in Bodega Pizza? Around there or something?
I wasn't there that day, by the
It
way.
looked like it was there, right?
we
The
did one-
setting, it looks
right,
nice.
Right,
yeah.
it was Bodega Pizza, but we started in Harmonic in the studio. That's where we first started. And then in a year and a half, we got signed to Revolver, which was a parent company of Telemundo.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
that was dope.
yeah.
That shit got us like, you know, nice studios and, you know, nice guests. And it was a great experience, you know, being in front of the camera, you know. Then, you know, my co-hosts, they do sketch comedy. So I had to pump my game up, bro.
Was it your first time like being in front of the camera?
It was. And it was and it wasn't, because I for so many years I was seeing, you know, Juan Bago doing, you know, a lot of stuff in front of the camera, and, you know, my other co-hosts, I did short films with them, so I had that familiarity with them already, and I was kind of from afar seeing from behind the camera what you have to do in front of, from behind the camera what you have to do in front of the camera. So when I got in front of the camera with them, I was kind of a little
Gotcha.
seasoned, I would say.
Yeah.
So, but I had to do other stuff. I had, I was weighing 280 pounds at the time. I had to lose weight. I was like, damn, I was huge next to them. I could see the difference. So I had to make adjustments as I went along.
You look amazing now.
Thank you, brother.
How was that journey?
Oh, it was huge, man.
And what made you realize that's something that you wanted to go about?
I'm gonna tell you, this is really weird. When I started the podcast, I had just recently divorced my wife.
Oh, wow.
Of 15 years.
Wow.
So I went through a transition, I went through I was weighing 280 pounds. I got divorced. I was starting the podcast. I had to look a certain way. My co-hosts are way younger than me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had to make a whole transition, but it was
Yeah.
it was great.
It was all for the better.
Of course,
You did
man.
it, yeah.
I ended up losing like fucking 60 pounds and shit. She ended up
Wow.
seeing me later. I'm like, yo, what's up, yo?
I got back.
Yo, what up, yo?
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, man. But
Shit.
like guys, the stuff that happens in life, and
Yeah.
sometimes those moments springboard you. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, of
like you don't
course,
have the
yeah.
energy, and you're like, you start learning, like, yo, okay, she's gone, but then you take that energy and you convert it, and you say, oh shit, wow, I took that energy and I put it into something positive. So that's what that taught me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Always kind
Yeah,
of like continue just pushing and pushing
Yeah,
yourself and stuff because you
yeah.
never know. Like, what if you would have been relaxed or like gone back to like doing the computer jobs and stuff
Right,
like that, like just
right.
staying in that field, like
Right.
all the opportunities. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could have found opportunities on that field as well.
Right.
But like your thing was like in the production field type thing because that's you felt like you had to do like something with multimedia and like production and stuff like that.
Correct.
So that's fire, man. That's
Yeah.
fire that you follow up on.
Yeah,
on
man,
that.
you gotta, you guys know, you gotta follow. I believe you gotta follow your heart because there's a million things you could do, but if your
course.
heart is not into it, man,
Yeah.
you could be making. I don't care how much money. If you don't wake up every morning, I think with what you have in your heart, then yeah, you're doing it, but it's like,
Yeah.
damn, it's really heavy on you. You know what I mean?
That's
the
true.
way I see it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Nah, that's true. Man.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that, man. Just like it brings a certain type of, like, when you love what you do, when you continuously do what you do, it brings a certain type of harmony into your life, and that's something I'm starting to realize more and more now. Like what the pandemic brought to my life, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It brought a layoff. It brought more time to do what I love, but there was still that thing where it's like, damn, I might have to go back. Finally, letting that go and really going about doing what I want to do is open up so much more energy in me to be open to have more experiences like this, have a podcast, have all these things that I want to do that I'm finally able to do all the time. And guess what? I wake up in the morning and there's a smile on my face all the
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
And that's valuable. You learned that early on, and you to this day are continuing to follow that. It's not something that this, like how I'm feeling right now, is not gonna last this year only. I have to continue to follow it up so it can continue this throughout my whole life. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
The fact that you're able to do that, it should be a testament to anybody watching this. Like, yo, you could do this and you can make a life doing this,
Yeah.
living your best life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of the reason why like a lot of people don't make those decisions is just because we've been taught like to just you gotta think stuff out. Like you gotta school, that's the number one thing they teach you, how to think through problems and stuff like that. That's great, but it's like when it's stuff like that, like following your heart and stuff, like you can't think too much about it because
Right.
you're not gonna do it. You're
Right.
just not.
That's a
You're never
good
gonna.
point.
You're never gonna jump. You're
That's
never
a
gonna
good
take
point.
the leap of faith.
Mhm.
So but it's now until you do those things and until you take that leap that you start noticing like, yo, I didn't even gotta worry about figuring it out. Like it's gonna figure itself out because
Right.
I'm on the right path.
Right.
Just how you bump into like a bunch of random people, like, yo, do this. Like your boy telling you like, nah, I want you to direct my show and stuff like that, like my movie. Like, you just gotta take the leap of faith.
I think as you keep on going, life gives you the signs.
Yeah.
But one thing I've always noticed: black and brown people, we got to make money.
Yeah.
We got to pay bills, right?
Yeah.
Our families, we don't have
that's
generational wealth,
Yeah,
right?
hell no.
The people that I was working with in Tamron the Green, they were doing okay. They were like, oh, I'm an actor. I'm living in a $2,000 apartment. My parents pay for it. I'm doing great. It's okay.
yeah.
I'm going to auditions every day. Everything is okay. Like us,
Yeah.
our parents,
Nah, bro.
and our lives are like, yo, if you don't do it, we're done. We cooked.
Yeah, like we
Nothing to
can't
fall
go back
on.
to mom
That's
and dad.
it.
Like
Right.
we're not
yeah.
getting money from mom
Right.
and dad, bro.
We're
Like,
done. Like, yo, we done. Like, we got maybe our grandmothers, our uncles that maybe got a little something, but they ain't gonna give us nothing
Yeah.
because they gotta survive.
Yeah.
And then, we got a girl, something we want to get hooked up with. I want to do a family. It was like, yo, damn. So we're really against
Bro.
We have our backs against the wall.
Yeah.
Like,
It's true.
then a lot of other people that have the means that if they do fuck up, it's like, okay, I fucked up.
Like, I'll go back next year
Thank
and
you.
pick it back up or do another career.
I feel like that also that also gives us an advantage in a way because we're able it makes us stronger.
I
You get what I'm
agree
trying
with
to
you,
say?
True, yeah.
It just makes us like, I'm doing this and it's gonna work, and it makes our faith even
I agree
stronger.
with you,
You know what I
Justin.
mean?
I agree.
Yeah,
You're right. You're right.
it's a beautiful thing. It just sucks that we don't have that. But guess what? We have the opportunity now to build that generational wealth
I agree.
for
Yeah.
the people coming afterwards.
I agree.
Continue to stair step everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yo, man, I agree with you, man. It's a beautiful thing.
It's not easy, man. It's not easy, and it's all about that balancing act. Because as you are creating your craft, you still have to pay your bills, and you still need that little job.
Yep.
Like, I don't even want to go into what I have to do sometimes to make some money. You know what I'm saying? I'm nice, bro. I could do a lot of crazy shit. I do construction. I do a whole bunch of shit. I do dude, I could tell you all the jobs I've had in my lifetime. You feel me? I got to pay bills. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But my craft is my craft. And, eventually you find that balance that you say, yo, you know what? I don't even need to do these things just to make money. Yo, you know what? My craft is supporting me.
Yep.
And when you do that, you're like, yo, dude, wow. I'm getting, like we were talking earlier, I'm getting paid to sing. I'm getting paid to do a podcast. Like, really? And that's when you really lay back and you're like, oh shit, this shit is nice, man. I love this shit, bro.
That, and I feel like after you reach that spot, well, not necessarily after you reach it, but once you start going towards that direction, then there's another side of you the side of health that you've been neglecting for like years, working stressful jobs.
Oh, man.
Then that's a whole nother side of you that you uncover. And like, like you said, like you losing your extra pounds that you had and stuff like, I'm pretty sure like that was a journey of itself that you had to like figure out. But like, you had the time and the opportunity to do that, and you went ahead and did that.
Yeah.
And it's like, imagine you wouldn't have done that,
Yeah. I mean, we overlook it, bro. Life is so fast.
Yeah,
Everything
right?
that's happening, we're like, yo, we really don't have time to even concentrate on really our physical health or even our mental health, right? Right now with COVID, like fucking mental health is becoming like a huge issue. We're noticing like, yo, this is real, right?
Yeah, it's that shit.
And we live in New York too. Like, we have so much energy over here, like so many distractions, so much shit going on. Again, and you're in this business where you have a lot more distractions, and you almost got to take 2 steps back and be like, yo, let me take care of myself.
Yep.
If you don't take care of yourself, you're cooked.
Yep.
Burn out.
You're done.
You burn out.
You burn
it's
out,
impossible.
man, because the energy is over here and the people that are trying to reach out to you. And like I told you guys, like, yo, as you guys keep on going up, you're going to get more successful. You're going to have more people reaching out to you. You're going to have to protect your energy, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
It's like I feel like what you said made me think right away. Letting go of that dead weight. It could be physically, it could be emotionally, it could be all those things that you don't need that's gonna keep you from accomplishing what you need to. You know
Very
what I'm saying?
good.
There's something that I was very curious about, considering that you grew up basically in a different era than me and Lewis, and probably some people that are watching this as well.
Correct.
And me, I'm very interested in just like history and the history of New York, the history of where my ancestors like. We could go all the way back. I'm very interested in history, so I want to know like what kind of differences have you seen like growing up in New York then, and you said that you're growing up in the 70s, 80s, 90s. Like what kind of differences do you see now that pop out at you the most? What's going on today?
Wow, that's a good one, Justin. One of the things that that pop out to me is I don't see kids playing in the streets anymore.
Wow.
When I was a kid, that's where we did our networking, so to speak, right?
That's so true, bro.
Right, and our going back and forth with people. I don't see that no more. Like, I don't see the kids playing in the corner anymore. I think everybody's on social media, everybody's on video games, and I don't see that social interacting that was there when I was a kid. I don't see anymore. Like back then, New York, like in the 70s, man, New York was about gangs. If you want to see gangs, watch The Warriors, bro. The movie The Warriors, right?
Yeah.
It shows you that's what New York was. It was cliques. And you couldn't walk to my block, bro. There was gonna be a problem, bro. You feel me? And then in the 80s, it turned into the crack came in, and everybody was just about making money. And the gang thing just kind of came apart, and it was just about making money. The 90s, I was in my 30s already, and it was, I was away. But I don't see right now, I don't see the interaction between the kids. And I think social media kind of, in a way, has brought everybody together. But at the same token, it has brought everybody apart. That's my point.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I
true.
mean? There's a layer to it that it's brought us together, but it's also put us apart because, you know what? I don't call you anymore. I text you, right?
Yeah.
And I say happy birthday to you on Facebook as opposed to calling you and telling you, Justin, you're Lewis, bro. Happy birthday, bro. I love you, my
true,
brother.
man.
But that's gone. That interaction is gone. So I see that's missing.
Yeah, man, that's so
very
true.
interesting.
I think we were talking about that the other day. Like, remember back then that we used to be like, yo, Saturday we're gonna meet up to play baseball or basketball. Like we had no phones, so it's like
Just be there.
you gotta show up, bro. You gotta be
Right.
there. Like, well,
Right.
I'll see you over there, and that's it. We'll figure it out. But like now, it's
Right.
like they don't even, like you're saying, like they're not even stepping outside. Like
Right. It's
Wow.
like it's gone, and I think to me, like what technology is doing is giving us a lot of comfort.
Yeah.
But in giving us the comfort, it's taking away something that you really can't realize it at that moment because it's giving you comfort, and you're like, I'm into the comfort. But boy, you know what? You're missing that call, or you're missing that hangout that you could have with your boy that really comes in really meeting each other physically.
And they give you something that you needed too.
Right.
Yeah,
You can't get just
Sure.
from words.
Right.
You get from full human interaction.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
And I don't want to go into the pandemic thing, but I believe the pandemic. Again, I'm going to go into what I do on the podcast. I have a segment on the podcast on conspiracies. Right. I believe this whole pandemic thing is part of a conspiracy because you're 6 feet. What is it? 6 feet apart, right?
Yeah.
What do they put you in when you go down underneath the earth?
6 feet.
Ooh,
that's crazy.
Okay.
Thank you
Okay.
very
Damn.
much. Do you know we have an energy field around us of 6 feet?
Yeah.
So when I'm apart from you, I can't feel you, my brother.
Damn,
Those families
that's
and
true.
friends that you couldn't see during the pandemic, they were suffering, and you were too. And that
Bro.
goes into that, and that suffering really goes into the world. So it was done for a reason. And I'm on the show. I always touch on it, and I want you young people to be aware of it, to really make that human connection with each other. The technology is there; it's great.
Mm-hmm.
It could be. I love FaceTime; it's nice and all that. But you know what? No, you need to physically
Yeah, of course, man.
see each other. You know what I mean?
I agree with that, man. I so agree with that. It's something that I touch on a lot with different people that I speak to about. Everybody's in a different place about what they think about what's going on right now. And at the end of the day, for me, I noticed that I can't impose what I think about it on anybody else, but I do realize that I can express to them what I really feel. And what I really feel is I'm so happy that now things are open back up. I could have these interactions with people freely. I could be outside without a mask. I could really, like you said, get that real human interaction that goes past the telephone, goes past all that, because there is something in there. Communication is difficult, even if me and you are right next to each
Thank
other.
you.
Imagine doing it just through words. Imagine it doing just through FaceTime or whatever like that. We need that full scope so that we can understand each other. There's so much separation these days.
Yep.
It's like,
lot, bro.
we need to really come together physically and just in general come together and really understand, even if we don't agree with each other about certain things, really understand where we're coming from, essentially where we want to be. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's something that I've really been thinking about. And me and him were having a conversation before we actually started this. Is about communication. That's really what can help everything, because as long as we communicate, we could find better ways, more efficient ways to live with each other, to do the best that we can. So I really agree with you when it comes to like getting together is really worth something. And how nowadays it's kind of things are happening, whether it be technology, whether it be through a pandemic or whatever it may be. There's a certain type of separation that's happening that we have to be mindful of, and we have to find out a way to really make it come together again. You know what I mean?
Guys, it's a spiritual war that's going on.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. You know what I mean? And you got to be ahead of it, bro.
That-
Always
yo.
ahead of it, man. Always, that contact, the human contact, there's nothing that's going to beat that, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
It's true, man. It's true. It's so true. And it's like, I was talking to my girl, and it's like, she's starting to see, she's going outside, starting to see people not wearing their masks and stuff like that. And to her, she's a nurse, by the way. So
Right.
like, she was on the front line, and she saw sick patients and stuff like that. She had to deal with that. But at the same time, I'm telling her like, yo, like, just remember, like, before 2020, we never wore masks before. So don't think that like somebody without a mask outside is weird to you. Like I get you, like I understand, but it's like if we're not close to each other technically and we outside, like why you don't have to wear a mask. Like it's outside air. Like if you're gonna go outside, if there's anywhere that you should get some air in your lungs, it should be outside, like in the park and stuff like that.
It's just healthy, man.
And it's like it's just
how we live.
And just remember, like, yo, going back, like as a kid, you never wear a mask. And it's like I get it. Like we dealing with new new circumstances now and stuff like that. And like of course, like the health is important. But at the same time, like you were saying, that human connection, like to us now is weird to see somebody without a mask outside. Like it's just kind of like I don't know, man. Like that goes back to the the trauma and stuff like and the kids, like what are the generation of the kids, the generation from now that are growing up with this? What is that going to be like years from now? You get what I'm saying?
You're hitting it. You hit. That's going deep. I'm not gonna see that. You guys are gonna see the effect of that.
Man,
You guys
that's it's crazy, man. Right?
These young kids that experience this during this pandemic, I'm not gonna see it. Maybe I'm gonna be gone by that time, but you guys are gonna see the effect of that. That's gonna be something else. You know what I mean?
And we're gonna remember. We're gonna remember where it came from, like where that
right,
those traits came from.
right. And again on the show, I really touch on these subjects. I mean, they go deep. I think they go really deep. They go into the whole AI thing. It goes into your phone. It's going into the vaccination. It's going into everything, dude. Like, you guys are young. You guys, and I know you motherfuckers, like, y'all motherfuckers are up on shit. Y'all motherfuckers are way more than what we were on. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you guys got to be up on that stuff, because that stuff is very important to your future and your children's future.
Yeah. So fucking true, bro.
You know what I mean? You got to be up on it, because they are up on it even more than us. You know what I mean?
Nah, it's true. Yo, it's fact. Miles ahead, bro. Miles ahead. And it's like, that's conversations we had before. Like, bro, what is gonna happen? Like, when I'm trying to have kids, like, well, how are these impacts gonna, affect me in the future with my family?
I'm gonna give you a real quick one right now. Since COVID happened, like, the rate of birth rates has gone down like fucking like 25-30%.
Wow,
big time. Yo, that could be. It was from COVID actually. It affects men's testosterone levels. Maybe from the actual stress, so on and so forth.
So much you can't even tell, bro. Like,
stress itself is something that could fucking ruin you.
Thank you.
That shit goes into your system, and it makes your system react in ways that you can't even understand. Your body's
in fight or flight mode the whole time.
So imagine that if your body's not spending the time healing, what is your body spending the time doing? It's not just gonna stay the same way. It's either healing or it's either going the fuck down.
Yeah.
So you going through all this stress, whether it be, no matter where the stress is coming from, you know what I mean? Like, you have to realize what the fuck is going on, because that stress, people go on vacation, people do plenty of things to relieve stress. And now you can't really do that. You can't really go on vacation. You got to find other ways to relieve your stress. And if you're not proactive on that shit, you could be somebody who's getting sick because
really sick.
You're
staying
not,
at home too, sick.
Because your body's in that fight or flight mode.
Right.
These are things that not everybody really thinks about. They think, okay, I was told this is what's happening. Then that got to be that. No, bro. We're living in such an amazing machine right now. One of the most powerful, aside from the planet that we're living on, this is a fucking beautiful contraption that whatever this being is that we're on, we also such an amazing and intricate being that just knows what to do. We don't even gotta think about it. All we gotta think about is, I want to feel better. It's gonna lead you to that place where you start feeling better, but you gotta take those steps as a human being.
Right.
My bad if I got a little deep and shit.
Dude, you're going into health, bro. Dude, I could keep on going. I could talk about what we're consuming every day in terms of our foods. Like, dude, I mean, we could keep on going, right?
Like a bunch of rabbit holes.
Yo, there's people that are freaking zombies just what they're consuming every single day. Like those people that fucking eat McDonald's and Coke and all that shit, the sugar and all that shit. Dude, can I go into that? Those people are they're operating on a totally different fucking vibe, right? And people dying at fucking rates in this country, and the stress and this, that, and the third. Like, we could keep on going. So
it is a rabbit hole for sure.
It's a rabbit hole. It's a rabbit hole, man.
It's bad. Let me just say this. Like, when I went to, I visited Italy, like, I think it was like 3 years ago, when my girl and her sister, we took a trip there. And we were going to Florence. I think Florence is the one that's like further, un poco más para arriba, right? We're going to Florence, so we got a tour guy, and we got in the van with him, and it's like the driver, the tour guy, and us three. And while we got there, we're talking, and he's asking us, like, what do we do for a living and stuff. We explain to him, and then my girlfriend goes on, and she's like, oh, I'm a nurse, and I take care of really sick patients, because she does like ICU, that's an intensive care unit.
Yes.
For heart. Usually a lot of them are like heart patients, babies, like 3 months old, 2 weeks old, 7 months old, like even a few years, but really sick. Like, it's bad. And we're explaining to him, we're like, yeah, we have these sick babies. The babies are born with cancer. They're born with like a defective heart, a bunch of stuff. He's like, what?
Wow.
He's like, what? We don't have that here. Like, are you lying? Like, babies with cancer? He didn't understand what we were talking about. And that just shows like how healthy Americans are compared to like Italy and the products that they use over there, the natural products, like, even the milk, the meat, just everything is completely different. But it just opens your mind, to us this is normal. To us this is normal. Like, kids with cancer, this is normal to us. That shouldn't be normal, bro. Like, that's not cool.
Thank you.
It's like, wow, that's crazy, man.
Well-being, I feel like, should just be the norm for everything, man. The well-being. and we should use that as an example. Look, going to other places, like again, going to other places, we're not really able to go to other places now, but having that how would I say, having the opportunity to go overseas, that's a big opportunity. Not many people,
man.
not many people could even. I mean, plenty of people could do it, but there's amount of people who can't even do that. You know,
That's true,
if the world was open up to travel, so it's a blessing to be able to see that and to be able to use that to like know like, yo, I could be healthier. You know what I'm saying?
So true.
Right.
Yeah, man.
I mean, Justin, Lewis, I think what they do is a lot of times we don't really even realize it. I think they, in certain environments that we live in, they set stuff up for us to fail. That's just my opinion. I mean, if you go to a bodega, if you go to a bodega, if you go to any place around the hood, how many healthy snacks or healthy foods can you find, right? You find garbage, you find the little fucking coquitos, you find the
zebra cakes,
the zebra cakes, the little, you know, look when you go into a bodega.
With some real pretty packaging.
Thank you. And they know what they're doing and they feed that to us. You know what I mean? If you go to a Blanquito area, they're not feeding them that. You know what I mean? So they know exactly what that does to us. You know what I mean? Like I remember when I was a kid, like we used to freaking, there was a candy store before we got into 143. So in the morning, I'm talking about 9 o'clock in the morning.
On the way to school.
Yo,
Thank
that's
you.
true, bro.
Thank you. We would
so
fucking
true.
buy candy. And I was like, what? That was in front of a school. That means real motherfuckers were jacked up on candy, bro.
For breakfast, bro.
For breakfast, bro.
And they wonder why we can't fucking focus in school.
Thank you.
These kids got ADHD. Give them drugs.
Right.
Give them drugs.
Right,
Like,
right.
Come on now, man.
Again, everything is planned. Everything is in accordance to what they plan. And if we're not smart enough, we can't see it. We will fall into the traps. That's the way I see
So
it.
true, man.
For sure.
But like you said, like, you know, generations now, like, you know, with the internet and stuff, like we definitely like opening up to a lot of those things. We're noticing the long-term effects and just everything that's going on. And it's like, wait, like, you know, it's just like, you know, when like shit is not adding up, bro.
Right,
like what,
right.
like what you think, bro, we from New York. Like we know when we're trying to get finesse. Like
Right.
I know
Thank
you're
you.
trying to finesse my health, bro.
we
Like,
can look at you and know, oh, nah, that person's no fucking good.
bro,
Let me
come
walk
on.
away.
Yes. New Yorkers, bro, we different on that shit. But we have so many experiences that we're like, yo, we know bullshit when we see one. We're
Bro.
like, this motherfucker's full of shit.
So it's like, so it's like, bro, let's take it to the next step. Like, let's not like do that with our health. Tampoco,
Right,
like, you know,
right.
let's be on top of our health and all that.
But again, our parents wouldn't know that. Right? We're first generation.
Yeah.
So we're learning
Yeah.
stuff that is like, I'll give you a point in case. Like, yo, dude, I used to cut. And my mother, after a while, when I became an adult, I was like, Mom, I was cutting all those years. I was getting like report cards, fake report cards that my boys would steal and they would sell them to me and I would give you fake report cards. I would
Oh
go
my
into the
God.
mailbox and take out the card that I was fucking cutting. And my mother was like, mi hijo, yo no sabía nada.
Wow.
Porque en Santo Domingo, cuando tú ibas para la escuela, eso era legal que tú estabas en la escuela. Meaning,
Sí, sí.
you went to school
Yeah.
and the school system was honored. Like,
Yeah.
teachers like, yo, you know, teachers in schools were like really honored. I thought you were going to school. Like, I would never think you were cutting.
Wow.
And I was like, yo, Mom, I was cutting at the time. She was like, my mom had no idea.
That's crazy.
She looked at that like totally backwards. You know what I mean? So we're like, we're given this system, and a lot of times we don't have the eyes behind us to
Yeah,
really
yeah.
go through shit. So our parents sometimes like, yo, you met people like that, or you did stuff like that, and they're like, so you guys, I'm sure you're running into situations and people that your parents would never in their minds think you guys had interactions with, and you guys need to go through those instances in your life and dwell through them on your own and with your own intuition, and not even the knowing of your parents, because they don't know any better. They didn't grow up in this country or were born here. You guys were.
Yeah.
So you guys are pretty going into those situations on your own and your own intuition and what your parents taught you. But you're
That's
really
so
much
true, bro.
you're really much on your own, so to speak. You know what I mean? A lot of
That's
people
so
don't
true.
understand that a lot of times. You know what I mean?
That's why I feel like that's why like that home training and stuff that we got like as immigrants, you know, immigrant family from immigrants. That home training is like so important, but because like you're saying, like we go into those things later on, like on our own type shit, and it's like we got to figure it out. And it's like if you don't have that home training, if you don't know like what's going on, if you're not able to put two and two together, if you was always babied as a kid, you're not gonna be able to figure it out. And like you know, like
Right.
you're gonna get finesse, basically, but not finesse in a way that they're gonna take your money, but for your mental, like you know what I'm saying, like you're gonna get used for.
One way or another.
I got this question that popped up in my head when he was saying that. What do you think is, let's say one of the most important things, or if you got more, one of the most important things you think you got from your mother, your dad, or whatever. There's like that family thing. What do you think that most important thing
I
is?
could go on forever, man. Again, my mom, my dad, and I have 5 brothers. It's 5 of us all together. All my brothers were like a huge huge, what's the word I'm looking for? A huge impact on my life. You know, my brother, my two brothers are almost, one of my brothers is 10 years older than me. One of my other brothers is 6 years older than me. Another, Caesar, is like 2 or 3 years older than me. And then I had a younger brother. And growing up, man, those guys were very formidable because, you know, my brothers were putting me on to freaking video games and comic books and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bruce Lee back in the 70s. And were putting me on to all these, you know, important figures and all
the
these
cool stuff growing up.
Cool stuff growing up. You know, it wasn't just the street stuff. And they were putting me on to other stuff, like important stuff when I grew up. So that was like very important, man. Like if you're, I think to me at the end of the day, if you're the people that surround you sometimes make you, man. You could be weak.
Yeah.
You could be weak as fuck, but those people a lot of times, if they're strong, they build that shell around you, and those people build that.
True.
Right, I'm huge. I'm a big motherfucker. When you see me, I don't really have to do it, but the people that build my insides are my family, bro. And you know, my family, and then I had a great group of friends that I grew up around. I have friendships of 30, 40 years to this day.
It's beautiful.
Which I really cherish, you know, and that was from my block.
strong,
I'm Pinehurst. 77 Pine, so I really
That's where I
cherish
actually
them.
met you, I think.
Yes, you did, bro. We met.
It was either Pinehurst or Haven.
No, man, we met on Pinehurst, bro.
Yeah.
We met on Pinehurst. So you saw me walking on my block.
The first time we met.
Because
Because the time I told you I was the second time. The first time I met him, I was with my friend Jackie.
Right.
And I was just like, it was just in passing. It was 2013. It was 8 years ago. And it was just like, just meeting him. Literally just an introduction. I think I found out that you had a studio or something like that. And I remember being a kid and like, yo, that's fucking dope. And I ended up hitting you up. And that's when I saw the date. It said 2013. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. 2013, we made that first connection. 2021 is when we actually, we moved forward with it, which is fucking crazy.
And then I saw that you guys were doing a podcast. And that's when I saw you guys in the park. You know, I saw you passing by. I mean, you got the freaking hair, so I can't get it, you know? And I called you Josh. That's what it was. I said Josh, and it was, you know, Justin. And I was like, oh, shit, later on, I was like, it was
You know what's funny? We thought you were trying to call the two people in front of us. Yeah, because we're like, yeah, Josh? Yeah, he looks like a Josh, definitely. Yeah, I don't know about him.
When you started walking my way, I'm like, is Josh over there?
But it's so good that he's like, I felt like he felt the same thing as me. I'm like, Josh is very close to Justin, so I think he really made an effort. It's probably you.
I think it's you, man. It sounds very similar.
Yeah. That's good, bro. I would have said like a completely different name. I would have been like, hey, David, like completely off. Wow.
That was close.
It was close, man. But yeah, man, I was, you know, I've been blessed, man. I had great family, great group of cast and friends and people that supported me. And yo, dude, again, it's down times, right? You need those people around you when the downtime, like, yo, dude, nah, it's going to work out, man. It's going to be all right. You need those people around you, man. It's very important.
So true,
you know?
bro.
Yeah, man.
Shit, that's dope, man.
Louis, how about you? What do you think is like something very important that you got from your family? Like whether it be a lesson, whether it be, you know, a vibe that you got from them?
For my family, I get a lot of patience, and I think that's from my dad. My dad has like a lot of patience. But I feel like I could be a smart mouth, but I feel like I'm not. I'm usually, I don't know, like it's kind of weird. I'm laid back. I like to observe or like check, like get the vibe out of people type thing. And I feel like that's helped me a lot in situations where like sometimes there's some situations that you just got to be quiet and like just listen and absorb how people are working and start moving. And I feel like that later on is going to be like, that's like playing chess basically. Like, you know, you got to know like whether it's in an internship, whether it's in a job, or whether you're like talking to teachers in school, whatever it is. I feel like I was always good at that. Like just sitting there and listening, and then just off of the things that I listened and I understood, then I knew how to make my moves after that. I feel like that was really important. And I feel like I got that from my parents. Just like, you know, being patient and like, you know, making the right decisions type thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
What
about you, bro?
Yeah, I was going to ask.
So I'm going to say a couple, because I think these are two very important things for me. The first one, my mom taught me, and this is something that she literally taught me, like pretty much in these words. It's like whatever is happening in the house stays in the house. You know what I'm saying? It's like whatever we're going through, and we're going through it as a family. We don't bring that outside. We're our best selves all the time. We handle what we have to handle behind the scenes. But when we get out there, it's like it's none of that. No acting up outside either, because you know what's gonna happen when we get home. Because we ain't handling that shit outside. But when you get home, you know what the fuck is about to go down.
Stuff,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And those are things that, you know, teach you respect too. When you're outside, you don't act the fuck up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So true.
You don't do shit that you shouldn't do outside. That's that.
You don't go away from your mom and shit like that.
Like, type shit that goes on throughout your life. Like not being somebody that somebody else is gonna be looking at, like they want to give you a pow. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. The other thing is, that I got from my mom as well. Something very, very, I feel like is one of the most important things to me is to be somebody who is so focused on a goal that nothing will ever take you off of that. My mom she raised 2 children by herself, and there was times that she'll break down, she'll cry because she can't get us everything that we want or whatever. And that's so understandable. But this woman was every single day. I don't even like cooking for myself every single day. I don't like cleaning every single. But this woman was holding it down for 2 children, and that's just like the ultimate level of I set my goal. My goal is and has always been for these children to give them the best life possible at the expense of even my own happiness. But my happiness now is through them, making the best possible choices for them. You know what I mean? And she gave me that. I feel like now it just gives me that. It gives me that drive where
that
it's like
gratitude.
Nothing is gonna bring me down. Nothing outside of me is gonna bring me down because I have a goal and I'm gonna make it no matter what.
And she did it while working like 2 jobs or something like that, right?
Exactly. 2 jobs, maintaining everything. Man. So for me, that's crazy. One of the, if not the best lesson that I've learned that I took from my mom.
So true, man. That's powerful, bro.
You hit me in the head with that one, bro. Nah, man. Women, we go into another thing, man. Women are holding society down right now.
Yeah,
times,
shout out to women, bro.
Yeah, shout out to the queens, bro. Seriously,
that's
man.
So true, bro.
They're holding it down, man. A lot of the men are walking away from the families. I mean, situations, jail, this, that, and the third, and they're holding stuff down, man. And we're going through something deep because they're getting pissed off now. Yeah, they're pissed off from all the years that they've been taking shit from us, right? Yeah. And and we got to kind of balance that out too. Like, women right now, I think we're noticing that we got to step it up,
Yeah.
It's a big time, bro.
Always be the best that we can be. That's one thing like that I also learned from that situation is like, yo, I don't want to be somebody who steps away. I want to be somebody who's there. Now I got to figure out what's going to be the steps to make me get there the most, you know what I mean? Like the most harmonious way for me to get to a point where I can have a family. I'm gonna be there for them, and that's why I don't have kids right now.
Right.
Just trying to be smart in myself. Like, you know what? If I can't handle it now, there's gonna be a time that I can handle it, and we'll get there when the time comes. So big lessons from the previous generations that I'm so grateful for. I'm sure we all fucking so grateful for.
Man. Yeah. I mean, we're the men, bro. Like, so the men, we gotta bring leadership, and we gotta bring what we gotta bring, so the women's can't respect us. If we don't bring it to the table, the women's not going to respect us. So a lot of times I feel, a lot of men have been raised in single family homes with women, and sometimes we don't get that energy from the man.
Yeah.
And it's a little discourse. And then when you get into relationships with women, sometimes that is not there. But I think it's being the spotlight is being put on that issue right now. And I think a lot of men are really picking up on that. You know what I mean? And I think it's on our end. We need to really pick up on it. You know what I mean? Because
it's important, bro. Like, it's so important. Like, I feel like we starting to realize, like, how important it is for kids to grow up with both parents. Like, it's just like mothers will figure it out. Like, don't worry about that. Like, most mothers, they'll figure it out. Like, they're the MVP. But like, at the same time, it's like, as a father, do I want to walk away from a child's life and let him figure shit out on his own? Because I was lucky enough to have both of my parents in my life.
Right.
So it's like I also want to provide the same thing for the next generation. And I feel like just going back to what we were talking about earlier, all of that. I feel like that's all the fuel that they gave me. All the fuel that I have now, basically, all the fuel that we have is like you're saying, that community, everything that we had back then. Like, we always got to keep that going. We can't just
facts.
We can't depend on the government. Like, oh yeah, child support and this, nah, bro. Like, that doesn't cut it anymore. Like,
yes.
I want to switch up the tempo a bit now, and it's kind of touching on like the topics that we were talking about before, but it might be something different. So the question is, what is your favorite? Whether it be how ridiculous it might be, or whether it be how true you think it may be, but what is your favorite conspiracy theory that you've heard to date?
Justin, oh my Lord. Where do I start? Well, let me let you guys know how I started in the whole conspiracy thing.
Yeah.
When we did the Latinos Out Loud podcast, being good friends with Juan Bago, I always used to talk to him about conspiracies, and it was, we always had that relationship. I would come up with the crazy shit. It's always been in my blood. I've always looked for I'm growing up in Washington Heights. I seen so many things with my own eyes, and then I would read it in the paper, and it would be totally different than the way I read it.
Wow.
I want to hear one of those examples.
Okay. And so many instances, man. And I grew up with that in my mind, right? And my mother, obviously being from the Dominican Republic, always had an influence with Cuba. Hearing the public, you know, my mother used to hear a lot of radio, so my mother was talking to me about propaganda and politics and this, that, and the third. So the politics side of conspiracies have always been in my mind, right?
Yeah.
So when we did the show, it came from a comedy perspective, but also the comedy was from the conspiracies that I would come up with. They would laugh at it, but the audience a lot of times picks up on it and they know, yo, this shit's true. Some of these shits are some of these shits are like, yo, they're real. You know, I'm coming on a comedy twist to it.
Yeah.
But motherfuckers know that.
Almost to like soften the blow.
Thank you.
Make it more digestible.
And you just laugh at it, right? But still, you're getting that message across, right? And just to answer your question, there are a lot of conspiracies that you really have to look into them. Did we go to the moon, right? Who killed JFK?
MLK.
I mean, I could keep on going. And what's happening now, they're going into the political spectrum now, right? This past presidency, we had one of the biggest conspiracies which almost overturned our country, okay? And that was the QAnon conspiracy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that insurrection of the White House where all these crazy people went in, they were all in accordance that JFK was still alive, and his son JFK Jr. was also. Sorry, not JFK. JFK Jr. was still alive.
Jr.,
Right, he was still alive, and he was going to come out at the end with Trump and divulge that his father was killed by these people in the politics, and hey, and this new era is going to start, and that's what I wanted to always bring up to people. Like, there's so much that we think that we know or that we were taught to know. For example,
it's true.
Columbus discovered America. Did he really even step here? Guess what, guys?
He never came to America.
Even came up here. And guess what? That's why they started taking down all these statues and taking them down, right? Guys, our educational system, we're getting to the point where we have to start unlearning a lot of what we actually learned all these years, right? So these conspiracies kind of, in a way, not only tend to like just conspiracies, but tend to political things and things that we learned in the past. So there's a lot of unlearning that we're doing now, and that's what I try to bring with the conspiracies. Just yo, dude, like, I'm not telling you what to fucking think. I'm asking you to actually think things through.
For yourself.
Yeah, right?
Right.
Here's a couple of pieces of information. Right. What resonates with you, you could look at as true.
Right.
You don't have to just take somebody else's word for it.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I'm going to go back to your question. My favorite conspiracy that I've ever touched on was one that I did on our 100th episode for Latinos Out Loud, which we had Lin-Manuel Miranda on, and that was the Saturn Cube connection. When I did that conspiracy, I started learning about Saturn, the planet Saturn, and how much it has a power over us in terms of politics, in terms of educational system. There is a whole, occultist thing to do with the planet Saturn. There was a point that we look at Saturn like we look at the sun, right? Like the sun right now, we follow a sun religion with Christianity. The Son of Man, the sun.
Yeah.
You get it? The sun, right? Well, Saturn, at one point, there's a theory that we can actually physically see Saturn. So there was people that actually really looked at Saturn like being the god as we look at the actual sun right now. Wow. So there's people in occultism that actually look at the sun, and there's people that look at Saturn. So you have both, right?
That's interesting.
So when I did that Saturn Cube connection research for the 100th episode, I was like, wow, man, I was floored, bro. I did like 3 months of intensive research on it, and it blew my freaking mind. And I hope you guys one day go to see it. It's on Latinos Out Loud Live.
I got to check that one out.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
It blew
I started
me
watching
away.
that one,
You
but
saw?
I haven't got there yet.
Yeah, man. And it blew me away. And I started realizing, I was like, wow, man, this is all connected, bro. Like our educational system, our political system, our freaking, even law, bro. Like, yo, dude, when you wear a freaking cube for a fucking graduation cap, isn't it a cube?
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Damn.
I could keep on going. What's a TV? It's a cube, right? Thank you. There's so many cubes around you. GameCube. I could keep on going, bro. Whirlpool has a Saturn around it. I could keep on going, guys.
That's crazy.
And when you see this,
That's interesting.
When you see the episode, man, I touched on a lot of good things, and it keeps on going, right? And there's so many things that we just don't know, and our political system and everything is tied to occultism. So a lot of the conspiracies that I really touch on are really on occultism and the Illuminati. Because it's, when you start learning that, man, you start to learn that, yo, dude, everything that we're doing in our political system is all tied into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even fraternities and sororities,
What?
They all like related somehow.
Oh yeah,
The people in power.
every president is related. Every president is related to themselves or the Queen of England or one of the kings of England. Everybody is all connected. Even Obama, bro.
Yeah.
Even Obama.
crazy,
Even
bro.
the black man, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, when you start doing that, you're like, oh shit, like yo,
Bro.
It's a lot, bro. It's a lot.
I want to mention something. I don't know how people are gonna feel about this, but I think I heard it yesterday. I was watching something. I'm not gonna mention what I was watching. Yeah, you can find it out yourself. So they kind of touch on like how all the presidents are related and stuff, and it kind of goes into one of the conspiracies that I find pretty interesting, like ancient alien theory.
Oh,
Like
man, love
we're like descendants of aliens. And pretty much everybody here comes from somewhere that isn't the Earth and things like that.
Right.
And they were saying that like there's bloodlines that are apparently more open to celestial influence to where their ancestors are from, which means they're influenced more by that type of energy.
Right.
So you know how there's like good people, most people are good, but then there's like bad people, and there's just like naturally evil, and they get a kick off of fucking doing horrible things to people, right?
Yeah.
And apparently these people could be people in power. I'm not saying, I'm telling you what I heard yesterday. Could be people in power, you know what I mean? And things like that, and how the people in power on the earth are these descendants of these beings that are not even from this planet that want to control the people on the planet.
It's interesting. You gotta send me that video.
I like that one, man.
Oh man,
Sounds like a good one.
I'm only like 30 to 40 minutes in, but it's a 6-hour long interview with a shaman from Africa.
Fire. I gotta check that out.
He's telling a oral history of Africa and the world that was passed on to him through generations of generations of that tribe.
Wow,
Fire, bro.
I believe
gotta
it,
listen to
brother.
that.
I believe it,
Bro, like you can look at it. People look at shit like that and think it's so far fetched that it's bullshit. But if you look at it, man, he had to go through rituals to get that information.
Right.
You have to do some crazy shit to even to be trustworthy to hold information like that. If you gotta do, he mentioned something about they cut off a corpse hand.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say what he had to do with it, but just imagine: did he have to eat the hand? Did he have to do this? Did he have to do that? This man had to go through crazy shit to get that information, and he was sharing it with the world, and it was passed on from the beginning of Africa.
Wow. Nah,
So-
I gotta check that out, bro.
Yeah, so
I'm not sleeping tonight.
Look, man, I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you something. You asked me earlier about the aliens. I'm gonna be straight up with you, Mel. I think aliens could be a lot of stuff. I'm gonna tell you something. The word lie isn't the word alien.
Yeah.
If you take the word alien, right, and you spell it backwards, it's Neil. And you take Armstrong. Neil Armstrong was the first man on the moon. So if you take the word alien, it's Neil, and you take the first one from Armstrong, it spells alien.
That's interesting. Shit.
Interesting.
Okay. All right. It just what a coincidence, right, guys?
Neil A.
Right? Think about
Never
it.
think about
Right?
Yeah, I didn't think
So
about
there's
that.
a lot of little things here that just they throw little things at you.
Yeah.
Scientists have said that it's impossible scientifically for us to get to the moon. Physically, like our bodies and us to take an actual ship to the actual moon, they say it's impossible. Scientifically, they say it's impossible. They say that the moon landing and everything was filmed by what's his name? Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah. I heard
He was the guy that did 2001
Space Odyssey. Yeah.
Space Odyssey. He was a great
some
director
amazing
for
movies.
amazing movie. He was a director of photography, and there's a theory behind it right now that he was the one that actually filmed it. They say I saw a video, and it looks like him that on his deathbed he actually admitted that he actually did this for the government. There's an actual movie also that he supposedly is the director, and I forgot the name of it, but he actually
Eyes Wide Shut.
That's one of it. That's talking about the Illuminati.
You heard that one,
Of
though,
course,
right?
I seen that one. But that's one about the fake moon landing and how they faked it to the whole public. So, at that time we were going through a Cold War.
Yeah.
And we had to kind of prove that we were.
We had
like,
lots of benefits
right,
faking it.
Right. We had to prove to the world that we were the first people to go on the moon.
You want to be you want to be the macho.
Right. So guys, Hollywood and NASA, not a space agency.
That's crazy.
It could be all connected. You know what I mean? Is being put to our brain that we made it to space, being the first people on the planet to make it to the moon, make us feel better about ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? Is that something that they implemented in us? Guys, after the space shuttle disaster, and I think it was like 86, 87, we've never even tried to go back out there and really, since I was a kid, we're going to the moon. Like, when the fuck are we going to go out there? Like, we haven't
Put that
seen
shit on
it.
pause.
Right, we never seen it again, and it's just proof that it's all BS. We've never even gone to the moon. That shit is all a lie. That's
crazy,
one of the theories, man.
Yeah.
And, again, we're going to go into the flat earth theory.
Yeah.
Right? We see Kyrie Irving now. We see some of the younger generation. They're getting into it, and they're like, yo, this shit doesn't make sense, bro. We're hearing all these flat earth theory guys, and this shit is like, they're making sense to us more than the people in the actual, our scientists, this, that, and the third. So shit is like fucking switching. Like, we have a lot of celebrities like jumping on board, and we have a lot of alternative thinkers now that are really doing their homework. You know what I mean?
Bro,
I'm open for all of that, man. I like seeing both sides of the
Right.
picture, like because you never know. Like,
Right.
if it's one thing that I've learned is that textbook and the government they don't give a shit about you, bro. Like,
Right.
so they would. Imagine the lies they've been telling us,
but
bro.
then we have academia, right? And these are the people that build the systems that we've actually learned.
Yeah,
and
right,
build,
right.
How can you go against them? So it's really it's a catch-22. Like, you really need to do your homework because you could break shit down. Like, I gotten emails from people like, yo, dude, you're going against the fucking the Big Bang Theory, bro, by saying that. And I'm like, yo, bro, yeah.
Yo,
And they
Antarctica.
get pissed off at me, bro. Go ahead, Justin.
Antarctica. What do you think is going on?
Oh,
over
you
there?
got
stuff about that one,
well,
too.
don't forget, guy, extraterrestrial. That means more land. Extraterrestrial, right?
True.
They say that beyond that wall lies other extra land, right? We have a guy by the name of Admiral Byrd, which was
I heard of
you heard of
that
Admiral
name,
Byrd?
yeah.
He was in the 50s or 60s. He was a Navy admiral, and he took a fleet of Navy ships out to Antarctica after World War II because they believed Hitler went out to Antarctica with all his submarines.
They were doing stuff over there.
Right, they were doing shit over there. And he took a fleet of naval ships and planes, and when he got to the wall, there's an actual wall in Antarctica. When he got actually there, he got confronted by like a fleet of like freaking UFOs that were fucking blowing his ships out the water. It was
Holy
technology they've never seen ever in their life, ever again. And the dude came back with all his, like, half of his fleet back. And they kind of interviewed him on his way back. He was in Argentina, and he kind of, you will not see too many live videos of him. There's like 2 live videos of him. And he he tries to explain what he encountered. It was something that he's never encountered.
It's crazy.
That no...
I seen the Argentina stuff about Hitler.
But Hitler,
he
yeah,
he
he
had a crib over there or something like that.
Oh man, we'll go into that one.
Crazy.
He lived the rest of his life apparently.
Right.
in
There's
Argentina.
there's also a theory that Adolf Hitler is Walt Disney because Adolf Hitler was into arts. Before Adolf Hitler got into politics, he was a famous artist, by the way, guys.
That's
and he was
true.
really into artistry. And there's a lot of people say that he went to Argentina and he did a facelift on himself. And he became Walt Disney.
Jesus.
That's
crazy, bro.
And if you
That's
look
so
at
interesting, though.
if you look
Like,
at
damn.
things like Walt Disney is taking over every media company like in the world.
But wasn't Walt? I'm not gonna say the last name because in case they try to flag this because they be on it. let's say Walt. Apparently he was racist too. Like
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, that's
some of the cartoon stuff, right?
Oh yeah, I've heard of I think like there's some like certain cartoons are based on like blackface.
Yeah,
black
the blackface
characters.
and the
Right,
lips and stuff.
right,
I've seen
right.
some of those. Yeah,
Right.
they took those out.
Is based on I mean and it goes into even deeper. It goes into like child pornography.
Yeah.
It goes into a lot of like real dark
Kidnapping and shit like that.
and
Yeah,
shit
it's
like that.
crazy.
So it's kind of weird how it goes into Hitler and shit and all.
So
and Adolf.
interesting.
That's one theory right there. But dude, when you start doing the fucking homework, you're like, damn, some dots connect to each other. You're like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean?
They always
Bro,
say the truth is stranger than fiction.
Thank you, bro.
There's this like YouTube channel. It's called Red Pill Rooster.
Yes.
There's like a little cartoon skits, and they put them out like in different episodes. And one of the episodes, like a few of the episodes, is them taking a trip to Antarctica.
You sent me that one, yeah.
Yeah, you show the video, and it's just mad funny because like they put comedy in it, but like you were saying, like there's little hints, like
Right.
yo, like what is down there type
Right.
shit, like what is going down there.
Give you guys a great point of reference. The only treaty that every country has been in accordance with is called the Antarctica Treaty. It's 150 something nations, and that's the only treaty that's ever stood the test of time amongst all these countries. And that treaty, one of the treaties is that you can't go behind that wall.
Yeah, nobody.
And
could
all
go
the
there,
nations are in accordance with that. Like, so that lets you know at the end of the day, like, what the freak?
Yeah, they really don't want nobody
are they
to go there,
hiding
bro.
behind that wall?
Question, because I think you might know this. Apparently, information about UFOs and aliens is supposed to come out this month.
Yes. Wow, Justin.
Yeah, they've been saying that,
This is the 6-month period where President Trump signed the COVID bill, and in the COVID bill, he said that he will divulge what's going on between the United States and
UFOs and
UFOs
stuff.
or aliens and this, that, and the third. And what they're doing is they're playing games right now. They're just saying, they're admitting that they have footage and they are in accordance that it does exist, but they're not in contact with them. Again, guys, the government has been in contact way before, and they have the technology and the know-how to know already that they're in. Look, let me tell you something. And I've read this many times. A lot of instances in U.S. history, there's always proof of UFOs kind of showing up. 9/11, for example, there's footage of actual UFOs actually showing up before some of those towers go down. A lot of eruptions of like volcano eruptions. You see U.S. shows coming out of the actual volcanoes before they actually erupt. So there's a lot of interaction between like extraterrestrials, and you see like all these instances. So actually, the government actually has to know what's going down.
Yeah.
Like I've done fake newses on extraterrestrials living on the underground. Like
that's another one.
That's
too.
another
a big
one, right?
Yeah. The Hollow Earth.
The Hollow Earth
yeah.
theory, right? They live down there. They live in bunkers. The elites live down there. If something goes on up here, you know what? There's freaking worlds underneath us that exist. I'm talking about miles and miles of Earth. I'm talking about these people get together by rail train, like high-end rail train, and they could be from here to California in 2 hours. Like, this whole world. I'm talking about they live in freaking swimming pools down there. They have tennis courts. They have basketball courts. They say a lot of our celebrities that actually, quote unquote, pass away actually live down there. Like, Biggie and Tupac and all these guys, they live down there. Like, I mean, this is a theory, guys.
Shit, bro. Like, I know one thing though. Like, to me, it was interesting that like they're always aliens, this and that. Like a few years back, and I was watching my documentary, so I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I'll keep an open mind for it. But then if you notice, I think like about 2 years ago, the Navy or one of them, the military, they started showing videos. Like there's an ad that talks about like, oh, what if our next threat is not like from here? It comes from outside.
Right.
So that makes you wonder, like, and that's how they try to like make you like to join.
Right.
But it makes you wonder, like, what do you mean? What threat from outside? So like, it means that you guys know something that we don't know. Then so what?
There's
You know what I'm
theories.
saying? Like,
There's a lot
I
of
don't know,
theories.
man.
You have Project Bluebeam. You ever heard of Project Bluebeam, guys?
I think I've heard of it.
Project Bluebeam is that they would, in one instant, put up your favorite deity. So, wow, I see Jesus Christ in the sky. He's talking to me. The mind-skull connection. That mind is talking to your brain. They have technology that actually, you could see something and it's talking to your actual psyche. Do we get to a point where we actually see like Jesus Christ in the sky, and then we go to China and we see the Buddha, and then we go to like Islamic countries and we see Muhammad, and all in one unison, this thing is talking to all these human beings, and all of a sudden we start this resurgence in the world through this. It's called a blue beam project.
That's crazy.
And if you actually
bro.
see with your eyes, it looks real. Like I could actually put a hologram of you, Justin, in front of me talking to me, and it looks like you're actually talking to me.
Wow.
Crazy. That's some crazy AI
I seen
type shit.
I think it was in China. They did the drones.
Yes.
And they did the QR
You
code
saw that,
on
right?
the air.
Yes.
I'm like yeah,
that's crazy, right?
that's getting there.
So the
bro.
guys, the technology is getting to a point that, could Jesus Christ walk up in front of you and be like, and touch on you and be like, my son, and you'd be like, you fucking believe it? But it's really technology.
That's scary.
Ooh.
That's scary.
Yeah, let's not.
Let's
not get there.
I know we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. And the movies, actually, The Matrix is one of my favorite films.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Right, and that movie has a lot of symbology symbology behind
bro.
it. And by the way, guys, that movie was written by a black woman.
Yeah.
It was, yo.
They took it from her. Okay, the Wachowski brothers and Warner Brothers.
The
They
two
took
guys.
right.
Yeah.
They took it.
She
from,
sued them and she won.
She won. Thank you.
Dope.
All right, and that was from a black woman. And if you really hear her interviews, she wrote that movie from her intuition.
Bro.
Okay, which tells you that
Tapped in.
the gente de color, the people of color, and the black woman is the beginning of life. Don't forget, the first skeleton they've ever found in this earth, that goes way back in Africa, was by the name of Lucy. Was a black woman.
A black woman. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's crazy.
The Matrix, don't forget, she was a black woman. The Oracle was a black woman.
Yeah.
Okay? And she wrote that movie. So she put herself in the movie, so to speak. You feel me? So that movie has a lot of significance, you know what I mean? And it was una mujer de color, so you guys have to look into
That's
that.
beautiful,
You know what I mean?
bro.
That movie has a lot of significance. You feel me?
I watched the trilogy like as an adult.
Yeah.
Yo,
I
there's
think
a
I
new
told
one
you,
coming
bro,
out.
like, yo, that's beautiful, bro. Like, you know, as a kid, you're like, oh, cool, guns, y esto, lo otro.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like, when you watch it as an adult,
Really
you pay
start
attention
see
to that
what's
shit.
going
There's a
on.
lot of stuff going on, bro. Like,
Right.
it's a lot more.
There's gonna be a part 4 coming out. I think this
Yeah,
year.
it's coming
or
out soon.
soon.
Yeah,
It's
they're
coming
working
out
on that,
soon.
yeah.
It's coming out soon.
Is it directed by the same people, by the brothers?
I believe so. I mean, they took it from her. I think they did a deal where she signed a one-time deal and she got her money.
Wow. I read the fourth like how it's supposed to be. I read the screenplay of it. I'm excited for it, man.
Oof.
But I read it. I'm excited to see it because like that's a whole like for me. I love film. That's how I even got this camera that we're recording this on. I've always loved film. It inspires me and it makes me want to push what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry.
Nah, man, dude. I feel you, man. I mean,
Damn,
You know what? I want to ask you a question.
yeah.
About film. What inspires you still to this day to do it?
Okay. I grew up watching a lot of movies, bro. I love The Godfather. I love Clockwork Orange. I love I love to see a visual, man. Sometimes I'm not a book reader. You know how people read books and they like it captures them and it gets into their mind. I grew up watching films with my dad. And fucked up films. Like you would be like, yo, why did you watch that with your dad? Like I watched The Exorcist with my dad. Like, you know what I mean?
Shit.
I watched some like, back in the days, parents didn't have that mindset.
Yeah.
They were just like, oh, whatever. So I watched a lot of like really deep films when I was of age, like, 5, 6, and it had an imprint in my mind. Like I watched A Taxi Driver, bro, with Robert De Niro.
Amazing
That's
movie.
like old school New York, and you fucking see the scums of New York and the grime and all that shit, and it's fucking stuck in my mind, but I love it. You feel me? And I saw the world a certain way. I love The Godfather. That's my favorite film of all time. The cinematography, the writing. I mean, every detail of that film, if you watch it, it's like perfect. You know what I mean? The score in the film, the soundtrack in the film. And those type of films in the 70s is what really, really...
It's different, right?
It's different, and it pulled me into being a storyteller, so to speak, and then be a perfectionist for my craft. Like whenever I do anything, if it's not... Like I fucking I'll bother people. I'll be like, nah, that's not. No.
Yeah.
It could be something small, and I'll be like, no, somebody's gonna see it. Lewis is gonna see that shit. I know he's a perfectionist. I know he's gonna catch it.
He's gonna notice. Yeah.
He's gonna notice, and you know what? He's not gonna say nothing to me. He's gonna tell fucking Justin, and I'm gonna look like a fucking dick. And no, I'm gonna keep on looking at it, and I'll watch it, and I'll keep on fucking going at it until I fix it.
Damn.
You guys know what I'm talking about because I've seen y'all work and y'all shit is fucking good. So y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's a part of it. Like,
Right.
I don't know. You just have that thing. Like, I don't know.
Right. And again, it's by us seeing like fucking people that did good stuff back in the day. Well, let me go forward now into YouTube. Now we see a lot of stuff. Right. And we see sometimes, I hate to say, sometimes I see garbage shit and I'm like, nah, man, I ain't putting that shit out. I'd rather not have a million hits. I don't care. Yeah, you're gonna give me, nah, I don't want it. My shit, I want my stuff to stand the test of time. I want you to see my shit in 50 years and be like, yo, that still stands right now.
Yeah.
So
that's
now,
true, yeah.
right now we have a lot of content, and with having a lot of content, I see a lot of our work kind of in a way. A lot of people, it's just like, okay, this guy he's very well known. He's gonna get the hits. But you look at it, I look at the content, I look at the lighting, I look at the writing, and I'm like, nah, man. So I don't know. A lot of different things are happening. You know what I mean? But I still kind of stick to my guns, and if it doesn't fit my yo, it looks to my specifications, and I'd rather not have it out there, you know?
Keeping your
That's good,
integrity.
though.
With
Yeah,
what you
man.
do.
Because right now we have access to everything. Like, you could put out anything, and sometimes, you know what? People don't tell you nothing. That shit could sound like shit, and they're not going to tell you a goddamn thing. So if you don't have that button in your brain to say, you know what? I'm going to be honest with myself. This looks like shit.
Yeah.
Then guess what? A lot of your friends ain't even gonna tell you, oh man, yo,
That's so true, yeah.
yo, Louis, that shit looks dope, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, I love that shit. And you know what? That shit looks whack, really.
Shit is not good.
So that's why you have to fucking respect the people that be like, yo, my dude, nah, man, yo,
True,
you could
true.
do, you could
Nah,
do
it's
better,
true,
bro.
man.
You know what I'm saying?
That's so true. And it's good to have that group, you know, that little
Yeah.
circle of friends that, like, you know, like, okay, this person is involved in this. Like, if they're telling me this is for a reason, like, so, you know, I should pay attention. and stuff.
Right. And I see you guys have that. And before the podcast, I spoke to you guys. I see you guys have a synergy. And I love that. I saw a lot of your
Thank you,
content.
bro. Appreciate it.
I saw your content, and I know, Louis, you do the production, you do the mastering, you do the mixing, you do the production. And I know you in front of the camera, Justin, and you mess with the videos too, so you kind of know what's going on.
A little bit of everything.
Right, a little bit of everything. But you guys have a beautiful synergy. You guys have passion in what you're actually doing, and that's a beautiful thing. And guys, keep on going, bro. I see
Thank you,
beautiful
bro.
things for both of you, bro.
Thank you. Bro.
Thank you. I
I
appreciate
really
it.
do,
I
man.
really appreciate
Because
it.
you guys are very passionate about what you do, and you guys have a formidable relationship. I see you guys are good friends, and that's another layer that sometimes when shit gets a little hairy, you know what I mean? You guys could be really honest with each other and be like, nah, my dude, like, nah.
Yeah.
And you guys are really gonna trust in each other because they're gonna come to a point where you guys are gonna need that trust amongst you two.
Yeah,
you
it's
feel
true.
me?
It's
You know
so
what I mean?
true, bro.
So
Yeah,
good
thank
stuff,
you, bro.
man.
I appreciate that, man.
Definitely do appreciate it, bro. Hell yeah.
Put in the work. Yeah, when you were talking about like The Godfather, though,
Mm-hmm.
like one movie that came into my mind that I really liked from a little bit older, like it's probably from the 80s, Carlito's Way.
Oh,
For some
man.
reason, I love that movie, bro. Like the
course.
cinematography, how you were saying, like the
Al
story,
Pacino, yeah.
just everything about it. Like, you know, the fact that they were able to put like a love story and like, you know, everything that was going on and
Right.
stuff. That shit is in the Bronx. Like, that's beautiful, bro.
Right.
I love that.
Those films, I mean, again, they're not, you know, I think right now cinematography is going away from violence, right? Since we have so much violence in society and we're experiencing so much of it on social media,
Yeah.
I think in films, they don't want to actually portray that.
Yeah.
But in the 70s, bro, that was like, in the 80s too, that was like a,
Yeah.
but, you know, Carlito Way, again, it tells a story of, you know, really the violent side of
Yeah.
growing up in the hood, right?
Yeah.
Totally
Yeah,
different than what we're experiencing with in Lin-Manuel Miranda, right? You know,
Yeah.
they just did a musical on living in the hood. So it's different ways that you can actually tell your story, right? You can tell it from a violent perspective, or you may say it from a musical perspective, and you know, it's just what way you want to go. You feel me?
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, man.
I wanted to ask you, what kind of things are you working on these days? Like what kind of things do you like working on now, and what kind of projects are you working on these days?
Oh man. Well, right now, man, I'm working on the podcast, Latinos Out Loud. Like my focus is on that right now. We have so much to grow because everyone the people in the podcast, which is Rachel La Loca and Jamie Fernandez, are so talented, man. These guys are actors, comedians, they're writers. They write for the actual sketch comedy group, Room 28. They write for directors. They write for so many different people. So I always think writing is the beginning of everything, right? That's when you put pen to paper, that starts the creation of everything, right? And they're brilliant when it comes to that. And then we actually have the podcast itself, but we want to start doing actual visuals for the podcast. You know, that's going to be our next step.
Gotcha.
And then on the podcast, I have the conspiracy theories. So a lot of people have been telling me, yo, you got to do a podcast on conspiracy theories. So in 2022, that's what I'm going to do.
It's fire.
I'm going to start doing, but I want to kind of lend it more, not only to conspiracy theories, but, you know, things that we're facing in life. For example, political conspiracies that I would think, like Black Lives Matter, right? We can go really deep into that.
Yeah.
We can go too deep into a lot of different. We can go too deep into this whole pandemic that we experienced and really break it down. So I think conspiracies really come down to that, and I really want to get into that aspect of conspiracy, so to speak.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah, man.
And it's dope because it's like, you know, with that, you bringing the information forth. Like, that information is already out. It's been out for years.
Right.
We're finding out about it now. We found out about a lot of these stuff. But it's like the fact that you're using your platform to bring that information forth. that's really important because it's like some people they don't even want to talk about it. Like they don't
Thank
even
you.
want to get there. Like you know
Right.
what I'm saying. But like the fact that you bring it there and like you were saying, like just feeding it to the people. Like you select, you pick. What do you think resonates with you? What do you think sounds a little bit too far fetched? There's stuff that I heard years ago, that I was like, nah, that sounds crazy. But then later on, I'm like, okay, I'm seeing it. Okay, I'm seeing it. And now I'm like, okay, yeah, I clearly see it. Like, yeah, that shit was really going on, like behind the scenes type shit. You get what I'm saying?
I got a couple questions here.
Oh my goodness.
They're pretty monumental questions, man.
Ay, mi madre.
Big talk, big questions.
So I'm gonna start with this. I'm gonna read it just because it's a pretty intricate question. This question is from Jackie, the person that I met you from.
Yes, I remember.
All
her.
right. So this question: if you can go back in time 20 years to a time when you made a pivotal, important decision, and knowing what you know now, would you have made a different choice? What would you have done differently, if so?
Wow. Thank you, Jackie. That's a good one. Jackie, una cosa especial. Honestly, I'm happy where I'm at in my life right now. I think God put me in this position, on purpose. So I'm on course. Even sometimes when we think we're not on course,
Yeah.
sometimes God, even in the bad roads, he puts us on
Yeah,
course.
of course. Yeah.
I didn't take I didn't take the road that most people would go. I took a bumpy road, but I'm happy on the decisions that I've made going forward. Obviously, you're not gonna be the same person that you were at 20 or 25.
Yeah.
I'm 50. I'm not the same person. I would obviously make some different decisions, but in a whole, I'm happy where I'm at right now in my life.
That's fire.
Yeah, man.
That's always important.
Right, man.
That's the number one thing.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, man.
I would change a few things
No
here and there,
regrets.
always. Yeah, little,
Yeah, of
always
course,
little
but-
things, but the main things, I'm good, man. Like I always told you, I'm blessed, man. I got great people around me in my life,
Everything happens for a reason.
right, man. And I'm very blessed. I got great people around me. I believe in having great energy around.
Fire.
Yeah, man. I'm happy, bro.
That's what's up. Now I got a question for me that I
Yeah.
had thought of.
Yeah.
So this question, let me see if I can remember off the top of my head without looking at my phone. Okay, so if there was one thing that you can do in this life before you kick the bucket, there's one thing that maybe you've been scared to do, or maybe you just haven't got around to it. What would it be? What would you do?
Oof, god damn, dude. A fucking good question, bro. Yo, dude, I would like to get to a point that we had like a Disney World or Latinos, and we got all our stories out.
That's fire.
And our music out and our visuals out and all our stories and everything that we've experienced. That's I think that's my main goal before I fucking kick a bucket. I want us to get our stories out because I believe like growing up, Italians got their stories out. The Irish got their stories out. The Jewish got their stories out. We haven't been able to get our stories out. We haven't really, been able to cement our foot in all these big positions and all these places of media are not our faces. So a lot of times our stories are distorted or they're not told by us. They're told by someone else, right?
So true.
So I want to get to the point that we're telling our stories. So when we're not here, our stories are really solid and we left a legacy. And
So
I just
true.
want, hopefully at the end of the day that I just leave a little footprint behind that and be like, yo, you know what? I did what I had to do.
Yeah.
I want my peoples in the future to know that, you know what? Our parents came here. Like you were telling me earlier, Justin, how your mother had to freaking really grind to raise you and your sibling, right? I want that story to get out, bro.
Yeah.
So
so
so the
true,
people ahead know, damn, bro, these people really had to freaking go in it. So I need to go in too. You feel me?
Yeah.
And not only that, I believe in our stories being genuine, because that means a lot. That means that no, someone else is not telling our stories. We actually are telling our stories. We know how that café butelo smells in the morning when our mother makes it. You know what I mean? We're the only ones that know that. We're the only ones that know when our mother screams at us a specific way. Or say, Justin!
Yeah.
Only we know that.
Waking up to music to clean the room, to clean the
Saturday
crib and
mornings,
shit.
todo el mundo levantarse a limpiar.
Yeah.
We only know that. So it's very important that we tell our stories. That's what I would
So
love
true.
at the end of the day when we're telling our stories.
I want a round of applause for that.
That's true, bro.
And it's gonna
That's
happen, man.
dope.
You have that intention, and it's gonna come into fruition, man.
God
I
willing,
see it.
bro. I hope so, man. I hope so.
man.
I
That's
hope
awesome,
so.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and I feel like it's already working. It's already on this path, like through your podcast and the mediums that you've been using and stuff, social media and all that. Like it's definitely getting there.
And you guys, bro.
Like you coming along here, like yo, we learned so much from you, like bro.
The energy starts to spread, bro.
It's contagious. It's contagious. Like you were saying earlier, like, yo, who was that guy that was on episode 7? That's how people gonna be commenting and shit. Like, yo, who was that guy? You gotta have him back.
Yeah.
As I was telling him, I'm like, so far we had a guest for episode 3, Charlie.
Yep.
Episode 5, which is Jason and Noel.
Yep.
And now we have Frank. And it's like all of our guests so far, they've been great, like amazing. And it's like I was telling him, I'm like, yo, like these guys, Charlie, we're gonna have him back again. Like we don't know when. Noel and Jason, we're gonna do another podcast with him. We're gonna do another one with you because it's like, you know, so many gems and just like, you know, that energy and stuff is really contagious.
And people need to see it. People need to see it. People need to feel it. People, like you said, the stories need to get out there. We're all so vast, and we have such a wealth of information through our life experiences that we sometimes may not even know, but that can help so many other people.
Right.
And that is so valuable, especially getting our stories out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Facts.
And that's what building this is for. You get what I'm saying?
Another thing I want to throw to you guys. I think the beauty of us is that we're not going through the what's the word I'm looking for? We're not going through the
gatekeepers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very good, Louis.
Yeah, right?
We're not going through the gatekeepers. So our voice is authentic to what we're doing.
Bro.
You guys are freaking talking about what the freaking else you want to talk to.
Yeah.
No freaking producers telling you, oh, Louis, raise your voice a little bit. Justin, you know, a little higher. You know, don't say this, don't say that. Say like this, don't say like that. No, you guys are being authentic to yourselves and to your audience.
Yeah.
Right? And your audience picks up on it. They're like, yo, wow, we love this. We're not hearing the guy every morning on the radio. He's so professional. He has no, you guys are not
the same voice.
Right, the same voice.
That professional voice.
Right. That shit is gone. This shit is real. Like, so I think podcasting is doing that to us. They're like, yo, we're hearing the regular dude against the neighbor that we're hearing. We're hearing him on a podcast. That's the guy I want to hear because he sounds like a everyday dude. He doesn't sound like this fake ass motherfucker.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Fake.
Right.
Real, like
what it is.
We talked about this before. Real is gonna be the next thing. Real is
Real is winning.
Yeah, it's winning right now.
Shit.
It is. Bro.
I like that's a real is winning.
It's winning,
like
bro.
that.
Like with social media and like you were saying, like, you know, all the gatekeepers that's out the way. Like we don't gotta, like, you know, you could open up your YouTube channel. We could put our podcast out there, like, and stuff like that. But other than that, just people are like, yo, they tired of the fake shit. Like, bro, like we just went through a whole bunch of shit with like 2020. Like the last thing I want to hear is just fake shit. Like
no more fake, yo.
Yeah, like, yo, just let me hear you as a person. Let me hear your story. Like I'm more interested in that than like, bro, it's a lot going on, but like that real shit is.
And you know what? What would you say? Real. What would you say? Real is what?
The real is winning.
Real is winning. And I think in media, bro, that's gonna be the next thing, Louis. You just said it right now. I think real is gonna be the next wave. Like, yo, if people don't feel you, if people genuinely,
it's not being
you
consumed.
done, bro.
You canceled, bro.
You done. And you know what? Bam, you hit the cancel culture. That's another wave that's really hitting, bro. Like, people are really straight up, yo, I don't like this motherfucker. Yeah. Oh, he has all these followers. You know what? Yo, I don't want to hear him no more, bro. Fuck him.
It's true, yeah.
And people canceling you, even if you have the networks behind you and people pumping you. Nah, man, I don't care. So there's another element of media that I feel that's coming about. I grew up in
suppression.
Right. And I grew up in traditional media. You know what I mean? Now I'm seeing like, yo, dude, like even the cancel culture is coming. But dude, if you're coming from an authentic space and people feel you, even if a motherfucker wants to cancel you, if you're coming from a true authentic place and you're not malicious or hurting anyone else, yo, your brand stands and your voice stands for itself. You feel me?
Absolutely, man.
You know, there was something interesting that I learned about cancel culture recently. That I don't know if it was a TikTok video or a comment that I read in Twitter, but somebody was like, you know, cancel culture, like a lot of people, like, they be like, oh, that's whack and this and that. But some people are like, cancel culture is not bad because it's like, you know, people do say like, oh, cancel this person or cancel this person. But they say that if a person is brought forth and like they know they're doing something wrong, they're hurting people or whatever, they saying things that's not correct.
Right.
And like people are like, they bring it to their attention and that person just doesn't change and continues to be the same person.
Right.
That's when that person gets canceled. So I'm like, okay, it's more understandable now because I feel like before I thought it was just like, oh, we don't like this person, just cancel. It could be that too, yeah, like it could work like that. But a lot of it is like, nah, this person is like bugging out. They saying some wild shit and it's like, you know, we're telling them like, nah, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't say this. It's infecting this. It's gonna cause this type of effect. But like if the person keeps doing it, that's when they cancel them. So it kind of makes sense. Like, I don't know any examples of the top of my head, but
right.
I feel like there should also be a limit as well when it comes to this cancellation because you can't truly cancel somebody. Like,
there's
no way you could say it and they could have backlash for the next week. But chances are there's no, like, if this person is where they're at, there's no real canceling them unless they let that shit affect them. But what I mean by like having a limit as well with in terms of like cancellation and cancel culture is like we have to be open to receive communication from even the person we don't agree with.
I like that.
Everybody, because that's how we have the conversation. That's how we see where other people are. That's how we see where we are, and that's how we actually get somewhere. Because if we don't have that communication, and we kind of like we're suppressing how people feel and how like maybe they're not gonna want to talk because like fuck, what if I say something that's gonna get me canceled? Like there has to be a limit to like. To that, if somebody's like you said, if somebody's being malicious on purpose and it's not even really them, but they just want to get at people, that's something different. That's like, yo, I'm canceling you because you're a fucking dickhead.
Right.
But if somebody's saying something that maybe they don't even have a full scope of what they're saying, and they can be corrected, and somebody actually tells them, or they even do the research to like correct themselves, then that's almost a positive thing for the person and positive thing for everybody because everybody was able to help that person to actually get that real.
That's true. And I think I just remember where I saw that at. That was actually Katt Williams in a video on Twitter. That somebody is like, yo, he made a valid point with cancel culture. And Katt Williams mentioned that. You know, Katt Williams at one point, he had like a lot of stuff going on and stuff with his life.
Right.
But you know, he basically said that. He's like, yeah, like, you know, we go through a lot of stuff, especially with comedy. Like that's a big issue with comedy because you know how the comedians and stuff, like, you know how jokes were probably like 10, 15 years ago compared to now. Like now they gotta like be a little bit more, you know, gotta be a little bit more careful. But he did mention like if your jokes are to the point that it just insults people, like, and it's not funny, then you're not really meant to be a comedian type shit.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting, man.
Yeah, I seen that one. He's basically like if the only way for you to get your joke across is by using a fucking slur or like a word that you probably shouldn't be using anyway, if that's the only way to get your joke off, then you probably weren't meant to be a comedian.
Exactly.
Right.
But it makes sense though that's where it kind of like it could be a positive thing that cancel culture is there just to get people to evolve or whatever it may be in their craft.
Well, you guys have it in for you with the social media stuff, man. You guys, every word and everything you guys say is being monitored, man.
Yeah.
And good luck to you guys.
Yo, it's not like before, bro. Like before what? Now it's like everything is on.
Yeah, I think it's a little dangerous, man. I agree with Justin. I think the cancel culture. I mean, I come from the '70s, bro. I was fucking hearing Red Fox. I was hearing Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, and you said anything and everything you felt in your heart. I also come from a generation of snapping, bro. We used to snap on my block when I was a kid. And we will snap on you, bro, on everything. Your dad was a drunk, we'll snap on you. Your mother was a hoe, we'll snatch her. Your sister was a little skeezer, we're going to snap on her.
That's so true, bro. That shit was really like that growing up,
That's the way it was. Like, we snapping on you on every day. Your mother bought you some shit at Payless. We snapping on you, bro.
Wait, some shacks.
That was a big
and you know
shit,
what?
bro.
You know what that did to me, bro? It built freaking thick skin. And I told this to a lot of young people, bro. Yo, it built the thickest skin. Yo, people used to break on me. Yo, they used to break on my family. They used to break on me. Yo, you're fat, you're ugly. I used to hear it all. But guess what? When I got older, it was amongst my friends, so to speak. But yo, you built thick skin. Like, you look. I was talking this the other day. I used to grow up around Irish people. You little fucking speck. You little piece of trash. You garbage. I grew up around that, bro. I mean, if you were to tell that shit to somebody right now, they'll go to the school, they'll talk to the principal, they'll call their parents.
Take their cameras out.
They'll make a fucking like yo, dude, you grew up with that. You were like, yo, dude, you all right? You a little cracker white boy, and you bullshit. You know what I mean? But it was just words, but you built a thick skin to it. You know what I'm saying?
It's true, yeah.
You know?
Like you'll be all right, man.
You're gonna make it, bro. It's not that
it's
bad.
true, yo, bro. It's true. Going back to like, how we grew up and stuff, there's a lot of bullying. There's a lot of shit going on, bro. Like,
right, and you're not gonna stop the bullying. I don't care what anybody says. People think, oh no, we're gonna get the kids down. The bullying to me is always going to exist. I know schools are doing everything possible, but good luck to you guys.
It's impossible. Yeah, it's not gonna. It's too difficult now.
No, I mean, I look at it like this. Kids are kids. You know what I mean? And we were there. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
We're
like,
learning what we need, what we don't need. Some kid's gonna be a bully. He's gonna learn when he gets decked the fuck out one day. Like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't be a bully.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But parents, I don't think they're gonna be able to, or school officials are gonna be able to get in there and stop this bullying. And I know it's getting to the point where kids are committing suicide, and that's unfortunate. But dude, bullying, I don't care what you do. kids are going to continuously bully, I think is just, that's something that's never going to stop, you know?
Yeah, man.
That's
We got to
true.
try to teach our kids the best that we can.
Yeah, that's it,
At
man.
that point. But
That's interesting,
I
man.
want to get to this. This is the final question of the night.
Wow,
Yeah.
And it
wow.
may be the most important question of the night, too.
Mhm.
And this is for everybody here, sitting here, this question. We'll start with you, Frank.
Mhm.
If there was one piece of advice that you can give to anybody, whoever may be watching this, younger generation, older generation, your generation, anybody, whoever you think may be watching this, what would that piece of advice right now, the feeling in your heart that you feel like could help somebody out right now?
Do anything from your heart. Like I told you guys beforehand, man. Like, you know, your heart speaks to you before your brain, right? Your brain is always looking for the external stuff, the money.
Your heart is the first thing that you develop when you're in the womb.
Right. Oh, shit. As Johnny Carson says, I did not know that.
Yeah, bro.
You
I
know
think
what?
if I'm not 100% mistaken, but I've heard that before. Yeah.
You know, and I'm not gonna go against that because you usually go with your heart.
Yeah,
always.
that's
You
why
start
they say
thinking,
that.
and
That's
then
why
you
they
start,
say that.
and then you start making the little things and saying, "Let me start thinking with my brain," right?
Yep.
But I always believe, like initially, even when even if you see someone or something, your heart always gives you the first reaction to that person. Then your brain starts thinking, "Ah, no, they're cool, this and that."
Yeah.
But your heart always tells you, right? I always say, go with your heart, man. Whatever it is that you love, go with your heart. Like, you know, that's what I love to do. No matter who's telling you what.
Yeah.
Go with your heart. But in saying that, you also have to be intelligent and smart on what's going on around you at the same time. So going back to the craft, right? We may love what we do, but that's not paying. And
Yeah.
we made a little fucking job. You better find that job that's paying you at the moment. Like you better pay your freaking bills, bro.
Got to figure it out.
Right? Yeah. You're working towards this, right? But yo, you better pay your bills. So you better have a plan A and you better have a good plan B.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, guys, I hate to say it, this is a rough business. The plan A doesn't work all the time.
It's true.
And that
man.
plan B, it better be tight.
Yeah.
So we working on A and B, guys, all the time.
A and B.
Oh,
That's
A
fact.
and B, all the time.
And it's okay to go to B sometimes. Like, you could still go back to A.
Right.
But, you know, like, sometimes, like, you know, life takes you in a little,
Right,
little
and
directions.
we need that. Like now we're learning about generational wealth and different streams of income. Right, we're learning all this thing. Like our parents came into the country. Oh, un trabajo, get a job.
Yep.
No, man, I do Bitcoin. I get a job doing this. I get it. You know what? I do my craft. There's 100 different ways to have streams of income. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we're learning different ways to make money that, you know what, we're not stuck in a fucking office 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I can freaking just break in the middle of the day and I have an interview with Justin and Lewis. And you know what? I'm going to get that interview in. And guess what? Later on tonight, I'm going to go to my gig at night. I'm not having that freaking 9 to 5
bro.
because I got different types of business that I'm getting my shit running off of. You know what I'm saying?
It's beautiful to have that. And it's beautiful because, like, going back to what I was saying, like, about the health situation, like, you're able to pay attention to your health because you start noticing, like, wait, I feel much happier than having to work that 9 to 5.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was telling him, like, bro, like, there'll be times that, like, because I've been, I left my 9 to 5 before him. So, like, you know, there'll be times I'll be chilling with him and he's off today, but he got to work tomorrow. He's already stressed about tomorrow. Or he just got off today. He's working in 2 days. He's already thinking about going back to work in 2 days.
Dude, is that real,
and that
bro?
affects you, bro.
Of
Like,
course,
that
bro.
You feel that they're like, yo, that's
Dude,
stress. Like,
dude, in this country, I tell this to all my friends, we're dying off, not just from nutrition and stress. Yo, everyone in this city is under 24/7 stress, bro.
yo, so
We
fact,
sleep
bro.
at freaking 2 o'clock in the morning because we're looking at our phones and looking at our computers and people are hitting it up, and then we gotta wake up at 5:30 and 6 o'clock and be at work at 8 o'clock and
the train.
take the train,
The bus.
and take the
Pack.
bus, deal with that shit, and then we get in the office and we gotta deal with the bullshit, and then we leave from the office and we're drained.
Bro.
And then guess what? You better go do what you really
Yeah.
love to do.
Yeah, right?
That's the
when
only
you
way
get-
you can get out of that.
Oh yeah, but when you get to what you really love to do, you don't have the energy, bro, because you
No.
gave it to the 9 to 5.
Give it
You
to
feel
her,
me?
the whole fucking, everything, bro. The whole shift.
Thank
you
you.
go to lunch, you gotta freaking, now you gotta deal with somebody in McDonald's or something. You gotta
Right.
phone them a line. You have to-
Right.
some stress, and it's like, what am I gonna eat today?
Thank
This
you.
is too expensive. And
It takes your energy from
everything,
you.
bro.
So
It's
you have to be
everything.
strategic, bro. We have to, in a way, bro, we got to be strategic and be like, yo, this is what I'm doing 9 to 5, but yo, I got bigger plans, bro. I'm building my business or I'm building my brand. So your vision has to be really big, and you got to kind of have I think to me at least, you have to have like write your shit out on a vision board and be
Have
like,
to.
yo, this is
Have
what I'm
to.
going to do,
So
man.
important.
Definite chief aim.
Yeah,
Yeah.
chief aim, because our visions are huge, and it's a lot of that that comes into it. And yo, there's a lot of pitfalls that we need to know what those pitfalls are, And you know what, guys? Get mentors, bro. Like, get people that have been doing it that you could talk to and be like, yo, dude, like, I'm trying to do the same thing that you're doing. How the frick you get...
How you got started.
Right. And you guys are doing it right now with your podcast because you know what? You're building those bridges, you know, that's but, you know, always have those bridges open. Yo, I want to do exactly what you're doing. Those people sometimes going to hit you with a little something. You're going to be like, whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah, bro.
Well, I didn't see it from that perspective. You know what I mean?
That's dope, bro.
That's
a good one.
It's
I
a
like
great
that
piece
one.
of advice, man.
What do you got?
Follow your heart.
What do you got for this
What
episode?
do I got? Shit. Let's see. Let me tap in real quick to my heart. It's what I always do. I never really have anything thought out, but let's see. I feel like the piece of advice that I could tell the person watching this right now is to find that thing. Find that thing that is gonna make you get up in the morning, like I said earlier, and smile. Make you get up in the morning, smile, and make you feel good about what you're doing. It may take time. It may take that 9 to 5 for you to get the money to finally get it started. That pain is a pain that doesn't last forever because there's gonna come a point where you got so far in that time that you work so hard that gets you to where you need to be, where you could every moment that you live in could be heaven, it could be harmony, and it could be, you know, it's still gonna be, you know, there's always challenges. Challenge is beautiful because it helps you get to that next step. But find that thing and follow through with it. Don't stop. Don't say nah to the guy that's asking you to shoot his silly video. You know what I mean? Be open to it. You know what I mean? Just like everybody here has done in their life, and that's how we even got here right now. So that's my piece of advice for
Deep.
I like that.
Deep, bro.
I like
what you
that.
got, Lewis?
For this one, man, I feel like I'm running out of ideas. every episode we do one. Yeah, but just going back to what you guys were mentioning, like having that chief aim, like writing it down is really important. Like I've been going back to a lot of that. Like I read books and like just quotes and stuff like that, and I do affirmations and stuff like that. So I just go back to my notes, and that's really important to have that chief aim because that sets you apart when you want to slack off or when you just don't know what to do, or like you just wake up one morning, especially like us, like we have a little bit more free time because we don't gotta like go right after we wake up like right into a job, whatever. Like my schedule, I'm able to make it like really flexible. So this mornings I wake up, and if I don't know what I'm doing that day, I'm gonna slack off.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna be here. I might wake up and go back on this couch and sleep some more.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't do that. But once you have that definite chief aim, you're like, okay, well, I'm trying to be the best music producer or engineer that I possibly can be. So what am I doing sleeping right now? I shouldn't be sleeping. I should be working on music or doing something else. So that's really important. But besides that, we were talking about this earlier, just helping the younger generation. And I know this is not an example where like, because he's around my age, but like there's this intern where I work at in Lounge Studios. His name is Mike Mitch. Shout out to Mike Mitch. He's dope, bro. Like I was, mind you, he's an intern, but he's like around my age because he's coming from, I think he was more into the videography kind of thing. He had his own business and all that. And he was working for a company too. But now, after the pandemic, he's like, you know what? I'm trying to follow my music, my music side of things. And he's taking it more seriously. But we were just chopping it up, and I was, he's asking me questions. He's dope. Like, he's always asking questions and stuff. But besides that, we were just there talking, and I'm sharing what I know as an engineer that could help him in the road. But then, like, this guy's like, oh, like, I also, he also does engineering, and he's showing me his website, and he got his whole website, like, set up automatically and stuff like that. But point is, that's something I've been wanting to do for months. So I'm like, bro, how you did that? Like, how you got it like that? He's like, yeah, look, it's dope. Like, just how I envisioned to have my website, he has it like that. And he's like, yo, bro, like, we could meet up. I'll help you with that. But it basically goes back to, like, just, just share those gems. Because it's like, just me sitting in. I could have been like, nah, bro, like, I'm busy. Get out of the studio. Like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Like, he got questions, he came in and stuff. Like, I'm definitely going to answer his questions. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know if you guys feel like this, but like if somebody asks you a question about something that you're passionate about, you could go on and on forever, bro. I just felt like that at that time. I was just giving him everything that I could, and we were just going back and forth. And then it came to that step where it's like, oh, damn, like this guy knows about the website. He's going to help me with this. And it all came from an intern at the studio. And it's like, you never know who's that next person that's going to help you with that. And it like, fuel your creativity too. You just got to be open to, stuff like that.
That person gave you the big talk.
Really big. We're gonna have him one of these days. We're gonna have Mike Mitchell over here. He's dope, bro. Like, we're gonna have him, bro.
Oh man.
Amazing, man. Big talk, man. I want to thank you, Frank Nibbs. I want to thank you, Lewis.
Yo, dude.
Thank you guys, man, for
Thank you
this
so much,
amazing
Bro,
guys.
time.
appreciate you coming over, bro. Like it was.
Wow. Well, guys, wow.
And then, yo, bro, like I don't know if we mentioned it, but it was like this same week that when we went bike
It was
riding
on
on
Monday.
bro.
It's
Monday,
Thursday
today's
right now.
Thursday.
Oh
like,
shit, we did it in a week, bro.
in a few days.
God.
Yeah, man.
That
But
was,
that shows like you just gotta put in that work, man.
that meant that it was meant to be.
Absolutely, bro.
So
Yo,
true, bro.
Guys, thank you so much. I just want to give a few people a shout out.
Yeah,
I
of
want to give a
course.
shout out to my co-host, Rachel La Loca. I want to give a shout out to Jamie Fernandez, my other co-host. I want to give a shout out to Juan Bago. I want to give a shout out to Randy Simon, my producing partner. I want to give a shout out to my brother Caesar and to Inharmonic.
Fire.
And I want to give a shout out to Washington Heights.
Let's go, baby.
You know,
Yes, sir.
what made me and, you know, who I am today. And I want to thank you, Lewis, for having me. I want to thank you, Justin, for having me. This was great.
Always, bro.
Thank you so much, guys. Keep on doing what you're doing.
Likewise.
I believe in you guys. I love you guys' vibe, and I believe in you guys, and I believe in
Thank
your
you,
brand.
bro.
Thank you
bro.
so much.
Thank you for
so
stopping
much.
by, bro. We
Thank you.
appreciate
you,
You're
you.
the man. You're the man. Big talk, episode 7. Frank, what can everybody find you?
Guys, you can find me on IG, Nibbs, Nibb, as in boy. That's 2 B's, S0125. And on Facebook, you can find me on Frank Nibbs. And I'm there, guys. Thank
And
you.
we'll
Yeah, we
put it in
have
the
it.
description on this video too.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
guys. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, bro.
Appreciate you, bro. Hell yeah, baby.
What's up,